as Ankit sir has also done, let us pay our rich tribute to Vairagya Murti, Santa Gadge Baba, under whose name only our university also stands. And whatever his teaching and preaching was there, you will find it has got reflection in this policy also. So many things what he has told few decades back are now being implemented. If I make such statement, it will not be out of context. I am thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and Director of UGC MMTC of Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University Amravati, as well as our friend Ankit sir, because of whose support and whose technical all arrangement, we are able to meet each other on this platform. I am also thankful to management of Jagadamba institutions and its SNDT Engineering College, its Honorable Principal Dr. Patil sir, Course Coordinator Dr. Pawar sir, Co-Coordinator Dr. Gujarati sir, and all learned participants. Friends, today what we will try to cover in coming 3 hours is about the philosophy or spirit of, you can say, NEP 2020. And once we understand the background, what was the various shortcomings and recommendations of draft committee, how they were converted into, say, policy statement, and finally to implement the policy, there are various instruments which are uniformly to be accepted and implemented by everybody in India, and all those instruments are in alignment with global standards. So, and finally, what where we are going is finally is we are going towards level-based, competency-based qualification, and most importantly, outcome-based education. So we will try to cover fundamental concepts or all those things. Number one, why should we cover it? Because once we understand the spirit, philosophy, the guidance, and exactly where we are expected to reach through this policy, then our journey of implementations become reasonably smooth, because then everybody of us understand why such provisions are there, why those instruments are there, exactly within our freedom, what frameworks under which we have to operate. We don't have to cross certain borders. So what are those borders which are for everybody? Then our implementation becomes probably more easier. More importantly, already couple of years have already elapsed in implementation of NEP. Being autonomous college, you all learned participants are already implementing most of the things of NEP, expected NEP provisions. So this is the right time when we take the feedback, we compare what we are doing with what is expected. Now, if there are any confusions, any problems, we can definitely discuss, and we can really are able to evaluate ourselves at right juncture. So probably let us be thankful to UGC as well as UGC MMTC Amravati University. It's all important people, because at the right time this program they are organizing for us interacting with each other. So friends, we will have approximately 2 parts in this 3 hour session. First will be of about 1.5 hours or so, and second will be again of same time. In this part, in between, with the permission of Ankit sir and Dr. Patil sir, we will take 5 minutes break between these 2 parts after 1.5 hours. Then, in each part, we will have say 2 approximately sessions. And what I request, let us make our session interactive, in the sense that wherever any learned participant feels that something more the person he can add to this interactive session, because of the experiences and knowledge about NEP, let us welcome that. We will not call it as intervention, we will always call it as collaboration and support. So please feel free to exchange your thoughts, your ideas, your experiences, your doubts, even during the session as well. Of course, at the end of each session, that is, we will have approximately 4 sessions in 2 parts. We will keep some time for interaction, but intermittently also, everybody is welcome to share the views. So, friends, if we see the journey of, you can say, NEP, you will find that in India, it is not first time that some policy is designed regarding education and higher education, you can say, development. Since independence, we had Radhakrishnan Commission, Yashpal Commission, Kothari Commission. So from time to time, as per the need, various commissions were formed, their recommendations were obtained. On the basis of those recommendations, education policies were prepared, designed, modified, and then it was implemented. So what is the difference between earlier commission's recommendations and the policies vis-a-vis National Education Policy 2020? You will find NEP is a evolved document. It is not simply something for a certain period of time some commission is formed, recommendations are obtained and they are implemented. Truly speaking, when our last education policy was implemented, somewhere in 1985 or around that, the very same year, the journey of this policy NEP 2020 started, because all of us know that in somewhere 1986 and 87, India became signatory of Washington Accord, and Washington Accord mandates the certain global benchmark, certain global standards, measurable parameters of higher education system, particularly technical education, measurement of those parameters, comparing those parameters with global benchmark, some inner audit, quality audit regarding education system of those parameters, and then certification. So, audit, certification, benchmark, those things regarding quality, quality assurance came when we became signatory of Washington Accord. And that is how NAC or NBA came into existence. And we know quality, international benchmark, some accountability, audit, certification, those things started right in somewhere in 1986-87 only. And you will find that is also one of the important aspect or dimension of NEP 2020. Then we know that somewhere in 1992, we as a, you can say, our country accepted liberalization, privatization, and globalization as our national policy. That time we thought that GATT agreement or that globalization policy is about trade and industry, but education also was one of the sector. So our journey of globalization of higher education or higher technical education was catalyzed further somewhere in 1992. And you will find this policy is a manifestation of that journey only, from local to global, so through national standard. So globalization of Indian education system, particularly higher education and technical education, is also the principle or spirit of this policy, which in a way started in 1992 itself. Then somewhere in 1997, in United Nations, a Brundtland Committee report was submitted, which was commonly known as Our Common Future. And all 173 four countries, including India, accepted that report of UNO known as Our Common Future, and something like sustainability development. Such concept came as a global acceptance. And on that basis, 17 sustainable development goals were decided, and it was decided to achieve those goals with by say 2035 or 2030, something like that. That event also, that commitment also is the part of this policy. So international commitment of global sustainability and sustainability development goal is also one of the agenda of this NEP. On this sustainability and sustainability development goal, somewhere in 2003-2004, Johannesburg Declaration and Bonds Declaration came. And that Bonds Declaration kept the onus of creating awareness about sustainable development and sustainable development goals was put on the shoulders of higher education in general and technical education in particular. So in this policy, at number of places we find the mention of sustainability development goals, and particularly SDG 4, Sustainability Development Goal number 4. So that was also a part of a journey of formation of this NEP. Somewhere in 2006-2007, IT revolution has touched all spheres of economy. Even sensitive sections like finance, banking, share market, everybody had to adopt IT-enabled services and IT-enabled, you can say, working. Probably, we the education field slightly kept away from our this use of IT or IT-enabled education. But when this committee found that higher education is penetrated to very less, what they call it as gross enrollment ratio, is very less than 25. That is, if 100 students pass 12th or equivalent exam, less than 25 students enroll in university education system. So to enhance, to increase this gross enrollment ratio, it was found that IT is an IT-enabled education or online education or Swayam-like platform education is important to reach the unreachables and to increase the GER. The target was set to double this gross enrollment ratio. So IT-enabled education, Swayam-like platform, online education, that was considered instrumental in achieving those things. So that IT revolution is also, you will find, strongly recommended in this policy. So all national, international commitments, understanding agreements, right from Washington Accord Agreement to Sustainability Development Agreement, Bones Declaration Agreement, so IT-enabled education. So all those happenings from 1985 to almost when draft committee report was submitted, that is up to 2013 or so, all those things are part and parcel of this policy. So what is the takeaway? Takeaway is this policy is a evolved document. It is it is the document which is to be implemented as commitment to national policies and international agreements. So we have to go ahead. There is no chance that we can go back from implementing those recommendations of this policy. It is not of a certain period or certain government that this policy is being implemented. It is a national policy, it is a evolved document, and it is a commitment towards national policies as well as international commitments. So this is the takeaway we should take before we start, and takeaway is the only way is to go ahead and implement it to the best possible way in the best interest of our student and with the teaching fraternity and education sector in general. Second thing, now when we talk about, we have understood what is the background of this draft committee. Now when it comes to implementation of NEP, the first and foremost thing every teacher we have to do is that before any session, any training, even our regular 1 hour, 2 hour lecture sessions or practicals, project, fieldwork, whatever we do, when we say we are implementing, means first and foremost thing is we have to clearly specify, state what are the expected learning outcome of that session. So accordingly, in that spirit of NEP, we also will very specifically declare what are our expected learning outcomes of every session. So our first session of first part, our expected learning outcome is after this session, all learned participants will be able to understand what are the pillars of NEP 2020. What is the concept, aim, domain, definition, types of education mentioned in this policy? Why we should understand all these factors? Because when it comes to implementation, we have to ensure all our implementation strategies and methods are somewhere connected with the pillar of NEP. One of the pillars of NEP, it should be reflected in our implementation. And second thing, we are in the field of education. So what is the definition? What do we mean by education? What is the definition of education? What is the concept of education? Why we should provide education? Why learners should take education? What is the aim of education? And when we find concept of education, you will find it is in three different domains. So what are those domains? What are those levels? And one of the strongest recommendation of NEP is integration of various types of education. So unless we understand various types of education, how can we integrate? So from that perspective, we will have our expected learning outcome of this session. So when this session will be over, another important part is when any session is over, we have to have small assessment that expected learning outcomes are demonstrated or attained by the learned participants here or by our student in our class or for any training program. So very clearly stating expected learning outcome, then inputs, processes, and then measuring attainment of those learning outcome is the way NEP is to be implemented. Let it be in my 1 hour regular class, practicals, any training session or conference or FDP like what we are having today. So let us try to understand this part and with the background of expected outcome. So friends, this national education policy, when it was formed, the draft committee, which was headed by none other than late Dr. Kasturi Rangan sir, who was the chairman of ISRO, and very illustrious committee of 9 people. You will find those committee members and the chairman, they were par excellent, globally accepted and par excellent people. in their own field and in the field of education. So that truly expert committee has given the draft of this policy, which later was accepted by Government of India, and then it became the polynational policy. So this draft committee has pointed out certain weaknesses of our then education system. They have pointed out various problems faced then by our education system, and to overcome those weaknesses, they have given certain recommendations so that those weaknesses are overcome. For our today's session, we will see that major three problems are relevant, which we are pointed out by that committee. They are mentioned in clause 9.2 of this policy. What are those three major problems which we will be discussing today, to how suggestions are given and how policy takes care of those methods to overcome those problems? Number one, our higher education ecosystem was then very severely fragmented. If we look back, we find that earlier faculty of arts, humanities, commerce, science, or for that matter, engineering, our faculty also, they were living in silos, independent silos, as if commerce has nothing to do with humanities, humanities has nothing to do with science, science, humanities, commerce has nothing to do with engineering. So everybody was working in independent silos like fragmented system. And in reality, a person, once after taking formal education, enters into such economic system where there is nothing like only, you can say, living in silos. Nobody can live without knowing the using the principle of simple commerce in daily life. Nobody can live understanding the some science in daily life. So when real life involves integration, education was considered to be highly fragmented, and there are many measures like multidisciplinary education or electives, open electives, so that this fragmentation is removed. You can say possibility of vertical and horizontal mobility across various sectors of education. Second is, problem found was less emphasis was on skills and outcomes. Whole education was focused on only cognitive domain or academic domain. Theory, principles, laws, it was mainly focusing on academic education, particularly higher education system. Vocational education system was skills based education for a particular sector, but in general, higher education system was focus was on academic education, on only cognitive domain. But only memorizing and understanding the laws, principles, and theory does not prepare a person for real life. Implementation, using the knowledge acquired, applying the knowledge acquired is equally important. So skill, psychomotor domain, that too 21st century skills requirement was given less emphasis in our higher education system as per observations of that committee. Third was rigid separation of disciplines, very early specialization of students into narrow areas of study. So there are many problems identified, but today, how those problems are overcome and how we are implementing our measures to overcome, that is what we will see. Now, on the clause 9.3 tells about the vision to change the then current system and to overcome those problems. So, what are the recommendations and finally vision statement of this policy to overcome those problems. Number one, moving towards multidisciplinary education. So fragmentation and separation, rigid separation of discipline is to be removed by moving towards multidisciplinary education. Second thing, our higher education, particularly science, engineering, the medium of instruction was only English. But the draft and then the final policy recommends that language should not be the barrier of learning. Language is the medium. So from that perspective, use of local language, native language, or you can say Hindi, Marathi in our case, is strongly recommended. आपल्याला माहिती असेल की इवन महाराष्ट्रात मराठी मीडियमचे इंजिनिअरिंग कॉलेजेस येतात आहे. इवन मेडिकल कॉलेज पण प्रपोज केलंय ज्याचं मीडियम ऑफ इन्स्ट्रक्शन कदाचित मराठीत असेल. म्हणून आपण आजच्या सेशनलाही काही पार्ट मराठीत, कुछ कभी कभी हिंदी, वी डेलिबरेटली यूज इवन दो वी आर यूज टू यू फॉर इंग्लिश इन अवर, you can say, programs or in our classes. But since NEP strongly recommends that language should not be barrier, so use of local language should be encouraged. So that spirit also we will try to keep up in our today's session. काही पार्ट आपण मध्ये मध्ये मराठीत हिंदीत सुद्धा करत जाऊ. Then third strong recommendation is more multidisciplinary undergraduate education and most important class 12. ह्या सगळं होण्यासाठी 4 corners of quality learning the class 12 tells, and that is what exactly individual teacher has to do. सेंट्रल गव्हर्नमेंट काय करतं, स्टेट गव्हर्नमेंट काय करतं, UGC काय करतं, AICT काय करतं, आपली विद्यापीठं काय करतात, त्याच्याबरोबर इंडिव्हिज्युअल शिक्षक म्हणून मला काय करायचंय त्याचं उत्तर क्लॉज 12 मध्ये दिलंय, आर्टिकल 12 मध्ये दिलंय, ज्यामध्ये रिवॅम्पिंग करिक्युलम, revamping according to that curriculum, teaching methodologies, what or strategies, pedagogy. Most importantly, reforms in examinations, moving towards assessment, formative assessment over summative assessment. आणि या सगळ्यांसाठी स्टुडंट सपोर्ट for learning experiences. So we have to give experiences, experiential learning experiences. हे स्ट्रॉंग पॉलिसी मधले रिकमेंडेशन्स आहेत. आणि आजचं आपलं डिस्कशन 9.2 मध्ये दाखवलेले प्रॉब्लेम आणि 9.3 मध्ये दिलेले गाईडलाईन्स, पॉलिसी स्टेटमेंट की जे आपल्याला इम्प्लिमेंट करायचे आहे त्याच्यावर आपण आज फोकस करणार आहोत. नाउ वन्स वी हॅव अंडरस्टूड द व्हॉट वॉज गिवन इन द ड्राफ्ट, नाउ लेट अस एंटर इनटू पॉलिसी डॉक्युमेंट. आपल्याला लक्षात येईल की धिस पॉलिसी इज बेस्ड ऑन 5 पिलर्स. ऑल ऑफ अस must understand those 5 pillars of NEP on which complete our implementation and policy stands. What are those? First is access. Access, we know that it comes from sustainability development. So you can say concept and bonds declaration also. As I was telling, the draft committee found that gross enrollment ratio is less than 25% and goal was set to double it by 2035. म्हणजे उच्च शिक्षणाचा आणि एकूण शिक्षणाचा ऍक्सेस वाढवण्याचे व्हेरियस मेजर्स आर रिकमेंडेड. म्हणून ती मल्टी एंट्री मल्टी एक्झिट, लेवल बेस्ड एज्युकेशन आणि मायग्रेशन और वर्टिकल और हॉरिझॉन्टल मोबिलिटी ऑफ व्हेरियस यू कॅन से टाइप्स. तुम्हाला असं दिसेल की बऱ्याच मेथड कसा ऍक्सेस वाढवता येतील याच्यासाठी या पॉलिसीनी दिलेल्या आहे. का आपल्याला हा पिलर माहित पाहिजे? कारण जे आपण ऍडमिशन्स करतो, आपण तर ऑटोनॉमिक कॉलेज आहोत, आपल्याला आपल्या ऍडमिशन्स पॉलिसी पण डिसाईड करता येतात. जनरली आपण या माइंडसेटमध्ये असायचो की 10+2 सायन्स केलेला विद्यार्थी आपल्या इंजिनिअरिंगला येऊ शकतो. यापुढे कदाचित ओनली 12th will not be, or 10+2 need not be the only entry. There may be some students who have done 10 but not done formal 2+2 but have achieved the level 4. There may be some students who have done formal up to 8 standard. Then through ITIs, they have done certain levels in vocational education. Through that vocational education, then polytechnic, and then coming to engineering also. So there will be various entries, multiple entry points. From that perspective, we should understand from where that multiple entry and various ways have come. So they have come from the pillar of access. So we should understand what are the instruments provisions made for increasing gross enrollment ratio and making entries at various levels through some framework. So that comes from the pillar of access. Equity. Equity in case of education is the learner must get same quantity and quality of learning resources irrespective of whether student is located in Yeola or in Mumbai or in Chennai or Delhi or anywhere. A student, irrespective of the strata, its location, should get same quantity and quality of learning resources. That is how equity is to be achieved. That is why Academic Bank of Credit and Swayam platforms, such things have come. You will find to ensure equity, blended education, online education, education through various platforms like Swayam, tomorrow Mahaswayam may come. Some universities may have their own, you can say, education platform. And this policy strongly recommends that mode of learning can be anything. So up to 40% of credit a student can earn through Swayam platform courses. Today, Swayam is permitted. Tomorrow, many other platforms may be permitted. So, equity, irrespective of the strata of the student, location of the student, a desiring and deserving learner must get the same quality and quantity of learning resources is that is to be ensured, and that is the second pillar of equity. And you will find many provisions are made to ensure this, the concept of equity in our higher education. Third pillar is quality, about Washington Accord, about global benchmark, about international standards, measurable parameters of higher education and technical education, measuring those parameters, comparing with international benchmarks and standards, having audit of this, and then certification, what we call it accreditation, that is also important pillar. Now even school education may be covered through this process of some accreditation system. So accreditation system will be further strengthened, reformed. It will become outcome based, you can say, accreditation. Presently it is input processing and output based system, and its you can say measurement. Now it will be more of outcome and impact measurement. So this quality is another, along with quantity, that is access. Quality is another pillar of NEP. India is heterogeneous country, so nobody should be deprived of quality education for want of any resource. So affordability is also to be ensured, and various mechanisms from union government, state government, from philanthropies, some support system that is strongly recommended under affordability. Fifth pillar is important for us, accountability. Even though many instruments have not come out about accountability, but one thing is very sure, we are moving towards outcome-based education, competency-based education. So the concept or mandates are very clearly given. We have to go towards international standard global benchmarks. We have to go towards outcome-based education. There will be something like measurable parameters. There will be mechanism of audit, and after audit, if we are not fulfilling the expected outcome, it is found in that audit, then up till now, there was no concern about really accountability. But the NEP strongly recommends there has to be accountability to meet up these mandates. Whose accountability? How it will be accountable? Whether it will be learner, whether it will be system, whether it will be teaching fraternity, whether it will be institutions, who will be accountable? And if the targets are not met, then what? That is not yet very clearly mentioned, but we are moving towards outcome-based education. We are moving towards competency-based education. We are moving towards where audit will be there. So obviously, whenever there is audit, there is accountability. So these are the five pillars: access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability, on which complete policy rests. And when we implement, we have to ensure that our actions, our activities, they get correlated with some of, or at least one of the pillars of NEP. That is what is the mandate. Now, when we enter further into the policy, you will find this is the policy in which certain concepts are very clearly defined and described, such as definition of education. What is education? We say that we are in the field of education, we are education providers, and students are learners or education seekers. So what is that happen, or what should happen between education provider and education seekers? That is very clearly defined in this policy, and we should understand this definition and concept of education given in this policy. That is what gives us guideline what exactly we are expected to do when we say that we are education provided. Second question is very clearly answered. What is the purpose of education? It tells the reason of our existence, why education system, including university, colleges, we the teacher exist. What is the mandate given to us? What is the purpose for which we should provide education, and what is the purpose for which learner should seek education? That is also very clearly. Now, once we understand through this policy what is education and what for education, then our, you can say, आपला मार्ग सोपा होतो. एक्झॅक्टली आपल्याला कळतं मी एज्युकेशन प्रोव्हायडर आहे म्हणजे नेमकं काय मला करायचं आहे आणि मला कशासाठी करायचं आहे, माझं पर्पज ऑफ एक्झिस्टन्सही क्लिअर होतं. नंतर जेव्हा आपण पाहू आता, डेफिनेशन ऑफ एज्युकेशन व्हेरी क्लिअरली टेल्स देअर आर 3 डोमेन्स. त्या डोमेन्सचं डेव्हलपमेंट म्हणजे एक्झॅक्टली एज्युकेशन आहे. मग ते डोमेन्स कोणते आहेत आणि हे डोमेन त्यांच्या स्टेजेस आहेत, म्हणजे लेव्हल बेस्ड एज्युकेशनकडे जातोय तर त्यांचे स्टेजेस काय आहेत त्या प्रत्येक डोमेनचे, हे आपण पाहूया. आणि स्ट्रॉंग रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ दिस पॉलिसी integration of various types of education. So unless we understand types of education, how can we do integration? So let us try to understand, as per this policy, हाऊ एज्युकेशन इज डिफाईन्ड, व्हॉट इज एज्युकेशन, याच्यासाठी तुम्ही बघाल त्या ड्राफ्ट कमिटीनी थ्रूआउट वर्ल्डचे ऑल वर्ल्ड लेवल थिंकर्स, how do they think about education they have considered? They have considered what is the concept in the eyes of Socrates, Aristotle, Pluto, Western thinkers, all Indian thinkers, स्वामी विवेकानंद काय म्हणतात. आणि या सगळ्यांमधनं जी सगळ्यांचंच कव्हर होते. जनरली स्वामी विवेकानंदांनी एज्युकेशन म्हणजे काय जे म्हटलंय, तो कन्सेप्ट या पॉलिसीमध्ये अडॉप्ट केलेला दिसतो. अकॉर्डिंग टू धिस पॉलिसी, एज्युकेशन इज मॅनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ डिवाइन परफेक्शन ऑलरेडी एक्झिस्टिंग विदिन अन इंडिव्हिज्युअल. आता ही डेफिनेशन घेतल्याबरोबर आपल्याला काय कळतं? आपल्याला असं कळतं की इट टॉक्स अबाउट इंडिव्हिज्युअल. आजपर्यंत आपलं शिक्षण हे मास एज्युकेशन, ग्रुप एज्युकेशन, क्लास ऑफ 60, बॅच ऑफ 20, आणि आपलं प्रिझम्पशन असं होतं. म्हणजे थोडंसं जर मी कम्पेअर केली, म्हणजे रॉ कम्पॅरिझन आहे, मिलिटरी ऑर्गनायझेशन सारखं आपलं एज्युकेशनचा कन्सेप्ट होता, की बा एखादी बटालियन आहे आणि त्या बटालियन मधले जे आहेत, दे आर ऑल युनिफॉर्म, आणि एक मास्टरनी जी इन्स्ट्रक्शन दिली ते सगळेजण एकत्र नीट समजतात आणि तसं ऍक्ट करतात. त्यामुळे आपल्या वर्गामध्ये आपलं प्रिझम्पशन असं होतं, ऑल 60 स्टुडंट और वॉट एव्हर इज माय क्लास, दे आर युनिफॉर्म, अँड वॉट एव्हर आय प्रीच, एव्हरीबडी रिसिव्ह इट इन सेम वे अँड लर्न्स इन सेम वे. पण नाउ द कन्सेप्ट or definition of education say no, that is wrong. In reality, there is nothing, no two humans are same. There is nothing like all are uniform. It's all about individuals learning, personalized learning. So learning is individual's process, personalized process. त्यामुळे आपला concept of group education has to be modified by we all teachers into a individual's learning, personalized learning. या पॉलिसीमध्ये अनेक ठिकाणी इंडिव्हिज्युअल्स लर्निंग अँड पर्सनलाइज लर्निंग शब्द वापरलेले आहेत. दुसरं महत्वाचं आहे की ऑलरेडी एक्झिस्टिंग परफेक्शन, म्हणजे प्रत्येक इंडिव्हिज्युअल हा स्पेशल आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये स्पेशल ॲट्रिब्यूट्स आहेत, त्याच्यामध्ये स्पेशल इंटरेस्ट आहे, स्पेशल पॅशन आहे, आणि ते ऑलरेडी एक्झिस्ट आहे. ते नॅचरल डिवाइन परफेक्शन आहे ते. आणि आपल्याला नेमकं करायचं काय? मॅनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ दोज परफेक्शन इज एज्युकेशन प्रोसेस. म्हणजे त्या इंडिव्हिज्युअलला, लर्नरला त्याच्यामध्ये कुठल्या स्पेशल ॲट्रिब्यूट्स आहेत या त्याची त्याला ओळख करून देणं आणि आपण त्या ओळखणं. म्हणजे व्हॉट इज एज्युकेशन इज फर्स्ट नो what are the special attributes, interest, passion of every individual in our class, and help student to know themselves also. आणि एकदा त्याला त्याच्या स्वतःची स्वतःला ओळख करून दिली की देन फॅसिलिटेट द प्रोसेस ऑफ मॅनिफेस्टेशन बाय गिव्हिंग ॲडव्हान्स नॉलेज, ॲडव्हान्स स्किल्स अँड ॲडव्हान्स बिहेवियर. दिस इज व्हॉट इज एज्युकेशन. म्हणजे आपला रोलच आता प्रीचर कडनं मी लेक्चर देतो आणि सगळ्यांना समजतं आणि मी शिकवतो म्हणून विद्यार्थी शिकतो, हे दोन्ही कन्सेप्ट या डेफिनेशन मध्ये गृहीत धरता येत नाही. इट इज ऑल अबाउट पर्सनलाइज लर्निंग. त्या विद्यार्थ्यांनी लर्निंग केलं तर तो शिकतो, मी शिकवलं म्हणून शिकत नाही. आणि विद्यार्थी केव्हा शिकतो? जर त्याला त्याच्यात ॲट्रिब्यूट्स तसे असले, इंटरेस्ट असला, पॅशन असला, तर तो शिकतो. आणि ती प्रोसेस करणं म्हणजे आपल्याला एज्युकेशन द्यायचं आहे. म्हणजे वी द एज्युकेशन प्रोव्हायडर आर फॅसिलिटेटर, वी आर नॉट प्रीचर. आपला रोल फॅसिलिटेशनचा आहे, फॅसिलिटेशन फॉर helping students to know themselves and facilitation of manifestation of their perfections by providing advanced knowledge, skills and behavior in those areas. हे प्रत्येकाने समजून घेतलं पाहिजे. कन्सेप्ट ऑफ एज्युकेशन बदलतोय NEP मुळे. आणि दुसरं हे सांगतो, एज्युकेशन इज इंटिग्रेशन ऑफ नॉलेज, ॲटिट्यूड्स आणि स्किल्स. हे मॅनिफेस्टेशन कशातून करायचं आहे? तर त्याला त्या संबंधीचं नॉलेज द्यायचं आहे, स्किल द्यायचं आहे आणि बिहेवियर त्याचं बदलायचं आहे, पॉझिटिव्हिटीकडे नेण्याचं. व्हेरी क्लिअर झाल्या दोन गोष्टी. एज्युकेशन म्हणजे काय आहे आणि त्याच्यात नेमकं आपल्याला करायचं काय आहे. म्हणजे 3 मध्ये आपल्याला मॅनिफेस्टेशन करायचं आहे. एक नॉलेज डोमेन, एक 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स इम्बायबिंग, आणि तिसरं व्हॅल्यूज, इथिक्स, ॲटिट्यूड आणि बिहेवियर. दिस इज व्हॉट इज एज्युकेशन. त्याच्यामुळे दुसरं एक लक्षात दिलंय की आपल्याला क्लिअर कट मॅन्डेट दिलाय मित्रांनो. जसं एम ऑफ एज्युकेशन विल बी कॉग्निटिव्ह डेव्हलपमेंट, कॅरेक्टर डेव्हलपमेंट अँड इक्विपिंग विथ 21st सेंचुरी स्किल. म्हणजे माझं कुठलंही फर्स्ट इयरचं असू द्या सिलेबी, सेकंड इयरचं असू द्या, कुठल्याही प्रोग्रामचं असू द्या, त्याच्यामध्ये 3 डोमेन असलेच पाहिजे. एक कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेन असला पाहिजे, एक स्किल डोमेन असला पाहिजे आणि एक बिहेवियरल डेव्हलपमेंट असला पाहिजे. म्हणून पुढे व्हर्टिकल जे आले आहेत एनईपीचे, तुम्हाला लक्षात येतील हे 3 डोमेनवर दिले आहेत. दिस इज व्हॉट द पॉलिसी क्लिअरली टेल्स. आणि आपल्याला आपलं पर्पज दिलेला आहे, व्हाय स्टुडंट शुड लर्न अँड व्हाय वी एज्युकेशन प्रोव्हायडर शुड प्रोव्हाइड एज्युकेशन. आपल्याला काय मॅन्डेट दिलंय बघा, तो 5वा पिलर अकाउंटेबिलिटी. आपल्याला पॉलिसी सांगतं एज्युकेशन प्रोव्हायडर मस्ट, द वर्ड मस्ट इज यूज नॉट शुड, प्रिपेअर द स्टुडंट्स फॉर 3 थिंग्स. नंबर 1, फॉर देअर मिनिंगफुल अँड सॅटिस्फाईंग लाईफ. विद्यार्थी उद्देशपूर्ण, अर्थपूर्ण जीवन जगेल त्याच्यासाठी त्याला तयार करणं, हा आपल्याला दिलेला पहिला मॅन्डेट आहे. उद्या जेव्हा ऑडिट होईल, जेव्हा उद्या ऍक्रिडिटेशन होईल, कदाचित आपल्या अलिमनायचा सर्व्हे केला जाईल आणि त्यामध्ये एक प्रश्न कदाचित असा असू शकतो, आर यू लिव्हिंग हॅपी लाईफ, डू यू हॅव यू फाउंड सम मिनिंग टू युअर लाईफ. आणि त्याचं उत्तर जर विद्यार्थ्यांनी यस दिलं, देन वी हॅव पास. इफ दे से नो, probably some accountability will be there with education providers, because mandate is we have to prepare student for their future happy आणि meaning, अर्थपूर्ण आणि सुखी जीवन तो जगेल याच्यासाठी तयार करणं म्हणजे हे काम आपल्याला दिलंय. दुसरं महत्वाचं आहे, वी हॅव टू प्रिपेअर स्टुडंट फॉर देअर फ्युचर जॉब रोल्स, वर्क रोल्स. म्हणजे विद्यार्थी आज माझ्याकडे फर्स्ट इयरला आला, मी ज्याही डिसिप्लिन मध्ये असेल, मी जोही विषय शिकवत असेल, मला विचार करावा लागेल हा विद्यार्थी 5-7 वर्षानंतर जेव्हा इकॉनॉमिक फील्डला जाईल, कदाचित तो पोस्ट ग्रॅज्युएशनला जाईल, कदाचित रिसर्चला जाईल, कदाचित टीचिंग फील्डला जाईल, कदाचित मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग सेक्टरला जाईल, कदाचित मार्केटिंग सेक्टरला जाईल, कदाचित IT सेक्टरला असेल. सो व्हॉट एव्हर आर पॉसिबल यू कॅन से रोल्स इन फ्युचर. आता आपल्याला कल्पना आहे एआय मुळे अनेक जॉब रोल्स संपूर्ण नवीन होतात आहे. ते डोळ्यासमोर ठेवून फ्युचर जॉब रोल साठी तयार करायचा आहे. तो अकाउंटेबिलिटी पिलर कसा येतो, जेव्हा ऑडिट होईल, ऍक्रिडिटेशन होईल, आपल्या अलिमनायच्या सर्व्हेमध्ये एक प्रश्न विचारला जाऊ शकतो, आज तुम्ही जो जॉब करता आहात त्याला लागणारं नॉलेज आहे, स्किल आहे, किंवा नवीन नॉलेज लर्निंग करायसाठीची जी बेस आहे, ती तुम्हाला तुमच्या एज्युकेशन प्रोव्हायडर्स, एज्युकेशन सिस्टीम मधनं मिळाली होती का? विद्यार्थ्यांनी म्हटलं हो, आज मी जे काय करतोय, मला कॉलेजमध्ये माझ्या एज्युकेशन सिस्टीमचा फायदा झाला, ते फंडामेंटल्स माझे स्ट्रॉंग झाले, मी पटकन नवीन शिकू शकतो. सो व्हॉट एव्हर नॉलेज, स्किल इज गिवन टू मी इन माय कॉलेज is useful for my job role, then it will say we have done our purpose. If answer is negative, then what? म्हणजे आपल्याला करिक्युलम करताना, सिलेबस करताना, शिकवताना, असेस करताना आपली दृष्टी फ्युचर जॉब रोल, बिकॉज आज जे आपण ते करतोय ते उद्या विद्यार्थ्याला भविष्याच्या जॉब रोल मध्ये जे लागेल ते देण्यासाठी आज आपण त्याला इक्विप करतोय. हा आपल्याला दिलेला मॅन्डेट आहे, आपलं पर्पज ऑफ एक्झिस्टन्स ते आहे. आणि तिसरं आहे टू प्रिपेअर स्टुडंट्स फॉर इकॉनॉमिक इंडिपेंडन्स. मित्रांनो, दिसायला हे मॅन्डेट सोपे दिसतात, पण त्याचं प्लॅनिंग, इम्प्लिमेंटेशन आणि अकाउंटेबिलिटीचा जर विचार केला, टू प्रिपेअरिंग अवर लर्नर्स फॉर देअर मिनिंगफुल लाईफ, फॉर देअर फ्युचर जॉब रोल अँड फॉर देअर इकॉनॉमिक इंडिपेंडन्स इज द पर्पज ऑफ आवर एक्झिस्टन्स. We the teacher, we the education provider, we the educational institutions, आपलं एक्झिस्टन्स कशासाठी? तर आपलं एक्झिस्टन्स या 3 गोष्टींसाठी आहे. हा NEPचा मॅन्डेट आहे आणि म्हणून मग तो क्लॉज 12 सांगतो की अप्रोप्रिएट करिक्युलम, टीचिंग मेथडॉलॉजी आणि असेसमेंट तसे बदला. आता आपल्याला एक लक्षात आलं, एज्युकेशन आपल्याला द्यायचं आहे म्हणजे 3 डोमेनमध्ये आपल्याला मुलाला डेव्हलप करायचं आहे. ते 3 डोमेन आहे. त्यातलं पहिलं आहे नॉलेज डोमेन, इन्फॉर्मेशन डोमेन, व्हॉट इज कॉल्ड एज कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेन. आपण खूप एक्सपर्ट आहे, वर्षानुवर्ष आपण या डोमेनमध्ये खूप चांगल्या रीतीने तयार करतो मुलं. या डोमेनमध्ये 2 कंपोनंट असले पाहिजे. एक आहे डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह कंपोनंट आहे अँड अदर इज प्रोसिजरल नॉलेज. डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह नॉलेज अँड प्रोसिजरल नॉलेज. डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह नॉलेज मीन्स नोईंग दॅट, आणि लार्ज पार्ट ऑफ this cognitive domain is about theory, concept, principle, laws. So those must be given. The student must know very thoroughly, but simultaneously procedural knowledge, that is knowing how. So these our theory, all theory subject should have 2 components. One, descriptive knowledge component. Second, procedural knowledge component. ओरिएंटेशन NEP मध्ये थोडं असं बदलतं. नॉट ओनली रिमेंबरिंग अँड अंडरस्टँडिंग दोज डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह नॉलेज, मोर फोकस शुड बी ऑन क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग डेव्हलपमेंट, दॅट इज एबिलिटी टू रिझन वाय दोज लॉज, प्रिन्सिपल, फॅक्ट्स आर ट्रू. त्या ओरिएंटेशननी शिकवायचं आहे दिस कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेन. जसं मी म्हटलं की प्रत्येक डोमेनला लेवल्स आहेत, स्टेजेस आहेत. ब्लूम्स टेक्सॉनॉमी वापरलेली आहे, NEP ने ऍक्सेप्ट केलेली आहे. म्हणजे इन्फॉर्मेशन, अंडरस्टँडिंग, थिंकिंग, नॉलेज डोमेन ऑल हॅज say 6 stages. Lowest stage is memorizing or remembering. Means in our schools or primary schools, we used to say, recite the poem, पाढे पाठ कर, कविता पाठ कर, त्या म्हणून दाखव. Or at later on, state Newton's law, state Archimedes principle, or simply remembering and then recalling. That is the lowest step of cognitive domain or education. म्हणजे आपल्या कमीत कमी भार हा सिम्पली मेमरायझिंग आणि रिकॉलिंग वर असला पाहिजे. मेमरायझिंग गरजेचं नाही का? असेल. काही वेळेला काही लॉज, काही प्रिन्सिपल्स, काही डायमेन्शन्स, काही युनिट्स हे लर्नच करावे लागतील, मेमराईज करावे लागतील. पण दॅट इज कन्सिडर्ड टू बी लोएस्ट स्टेज. नेक्स्ट इज अंडरस्टँडिंग. आपण वर्गात नेहमीच म्हणतो, हॅव यू अंडरस्टूड? सो कॉम्प्रिहेन्शन, ग्रास्पिंग द मटेरियल, meaning of material and ideas and concept. Understanding is also important, but again it is a lower step. So our own focus only on memorizing and understanding should not be there. Truly, higher education start with next stage, that is application. Whatever is learned, whatever is understood, whatever is memorized, the student should be able to use in new and concrete situation. So application is the next stage, important stage, followed by analysis, evaluation and synthesis. म्हणजे आपण ऑटोनॉमस कॉलेज आहे, आपण जेव्हा करिक्युलम करू, आपलं फर्स्ट इयर, सेकंड इयर, थर्ड इयर, फोर्थ इयरचं जे करिक्युलम तयार करू, त्यात कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेनचे जे विषय असतील, थिअरीचे विषय, डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह नॉलेज असेल, प्रोसिजरल नॉलेज असेल, त्याचे करिक्युलम करताना, सिलेबस करताना, शिकवताना आपल्याला हे लक्षात घ्यावं लागेल की इनिशियल स्टेज मे बी बेस्ड ऑन मेमरी, अंडरस्टँडिंग और अप्लिकेशन. पण जसजसा सेकंड इयर, थर्ड इयर, फोर्थ इयरला विद्यार्थी जाईल, मोर फोकस शुड बी ऑन अप्लिकेशन, अनालिसिस, इव्हॅल्युएशन अँड फायनली सिंथेसिस. सो कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेनला त्याच्या ज्या काय 6 स्टेजेस आहेत, आपलं करिक्युलम, सिलेबस, थिअरी सब्जेक्टचं, इन्फॉर्मेशन रिलेटेड सब्जेक्टचं, डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह नॉलेजच्या विषयांचं, प्रोसिजरल नॉलेजच्या विषयांचं, लॉस, थिअरी, प्रिन्सिपल जे शिकवतो आपण, ज्याचे लेक्चर ट्युटोरियल घेतो, त्याचं करिक्युलम, सिलेबस हे स्टेज बेस्ड असलं पाहिजे. हे आपल्याला, आणि तसं शिकवलं पाहिजे, तसं असेस करताना आपल्याला, एक्झाम करताना दाखवता आलं पाहिजे. सेकंड डोमेन आहे स्किल डोमेन, सायकोमोटर डोमेन. एज्युकेशन मीन्स इक्वल एम्फॅसिस ऑन ऑल थ्री डोमेन्स. आपण नॉलेज डोमेनवर पुष्कळ देतो थिअरिकल, बट नाऊ इक्वल वेटेज इज टू बी गिवन ऑन सायकोमोटर डोमेन. आणि त्याच्यासाठी दोन महत्वाच्या गोष्टी आहेत. एक आहे कॅपॅसिटी बिल्डिंग आणि दुसरं आहे कॉम्पिटन्सी बिल्डिंग. आणि आपलं एनईपी इम्प्लिमेंट करतो म्हणजे नेमकं काय करतोय आपण, तर प्रत्येक लेवलला, प्रत्येक डोमेनमध्ये त्या त्या लेवलनुसार कॉम्पिटन्सीज बिल्टअप करणं म्हणजे एज्युकेशन देणं आहे. आणि त्या लेवल बेस्ड, कॉम्पिटन्सी बेस्ड क्वालिफिकेशन देणं म्हणजे एनईपी इम्प्लिमेंटेशन आहे. सो वी आर रिओरिएंटिंग अवर सेल्फ टुवर्ड्स लेवल बेस्ड, कॉम्पिटन्सी बेस्ड क्वालिफिकेशन अँड आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशन. याच्यासाठी आपल्याला कॅपॅसिटी बिल्डिंग, कॉम्पिटन्सी बिल्डिंग आणि आउटकम्स आर इम्पॉर्टंट. नो इवन दिस डुईंग ट्रेनिंग, स्किलिंग, स्वतःच्या हाताने करणं, शिकवणं, दॅट सायकोमोटर डोमेन इज ऑल्सो हॅव्हिंग 7 स्टेजेस. आपल्याला लेवलनुसार राईट ॲप्रोप्रिएट स्टेजचं स्किलिंग, सायकोमोटर स्किल्स द्यायचे आहेत. कुठले आहेत त्यात 7 स्टेजेस? परसेप्शन, सेट, गायडेड रिस्पॉन्स, मेकॅनिझम, कम्प्लीट ओव्हर्ट रिस्पॉन्स, अडॉप्शन अँड ऑर्गनायझेशन. म्हणजे लोअर स्टेजला गेट सेट गो, प्रत्येक गोष्ट जशी सांगितली त्यानुसार विद्यार्थ्याला डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट केली, तो त्याला सांगितलं तसं तो चांगलं करतो. मे बी मोर अप्लिकेबल फॉर स्कूल. आपण जर माझ्या लॅबोरेटरी प्रॅक्टिकल्स जे मला जर ठरवायचे असतील, मी फर्स्ट सेमिस्टरचे वगैरे कदाचित गायडेड रिस्पॉन्सच्या स्टेजचे करू शकतो. म्हणजे वेअर देअर इज वन टीचर, वन डेमॉन्स्ट्रेटर, everything is told, procedure is told, how to handle instrument is told, even aim of the experiment is given, and students are given practice, very thorough practice, so that whatever is told, whatever is demonstrated is practiced by the student number of times, and he becomes sort of a expert in repeating the handling of whatever is demonstrated and solving the given problem. But that is a lower stage of psychomotor domain. What is more important is increasing confidence, proficiency at level, next level, and finally creating new patterns and solving various problem situations. So my practical sessions, experiments of first year will be different than second year, will be different than third year, and then fourth year will be altogether different. What is expected? माझ्या फर्स्ट सेमिस्टर, सेकंड सेमिस्टरला कदाचित मी एम ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट, पूर्ण इन्स्ट्रुमेंट वगैरे दिलेलं राहील आणि स्टुडंटनी ते बरोबर करता आलं पाहिजे. पण जसा तो सेकंड इयर, थर्ड इयरला जाईल, स्लोली वी हॅव टू एन्श्युअर that student does not only perform whatever is told, but he is able to become a solution provider, and student is able to select right instrument, select right procedure, and according to that, the student is able to find solution टू द गिवन प्रॉब्लेम. जे पहिल्या 2 सेमिस्टरला एम ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट वगैरे दिलं असेल, पण हायर लेवलला ओनली प्रॉब्लेम स्टेटमेंट दिल्या जाऊ शकतं आणि स्टुडंट त्याचा सोल्युशन प्रोव्हाइड करेल. या पद्धतीचं स्किलिंग, आणि नुसतं साधं स्किलिंग नाही आहे, स्किलिंग हॅज टू बी अप्रोप्रिएट विथ 21st century रिक्वायरमेंट. सो दिस इज व्हॉट इज द, you can say, concept of designing curriculum and syllabi and assessment for this second domain. Third important domain is affective domain. म्हणजे बिहेवियरल डेव्हलपमेंट. एज्युकेशन मध्ये 3 डोमेन असलेच पाहिजे. नॉलेज डोमेन असलं पाहिजे, 21st सेंचुरी स्किल असलं पाहिजे आणि बिहेवियर कॅरेक्टर डेव्हलपमेंट असलं पाहिजे. रिझन त्यांनी असं दिलंय त्याच्यासाठी, इफेक्टिव्ह ऍक्शन नीड स्ट्रॉंग मोटिवेशन अलॉंग विथ नॉलेज अँड कॅपॅसिटी. मला खूप नॉलेज आहे, मला पण खूप स्किल येतं, पण दॅट डझंट मीन मी परफॉर्म करेल. याच्या दोन सोबत मोटिवेशन असल्याशिवाय परफॉर्म होत नाही. आणि मोटिवेशनचा सोर्स काय आहे? तर व्हॅल्यूज अँड डिस्पोजिशन्स आर द सोर्सेस ऑफ दॅट मोटिवेशन. म्हणून व्हॅल्यूज डेव्हलपमेंट, बिहेवियर डेव्हलपमेंट, राईट अप्रोच डेव्हलपमेंट, ॲटिट्यूड डेव्हलपमेंट ही शिक्षणाचा अविभाज्य भाग आहे. म्हणून आपल्याला इक्वल वेटेज इज गिवन ऑन अफेक्टिव्ह डोमेन. अफेक्टिव्ह डोमेन सुद्धा 5 स्टेजेस मध्ये आहे. म्हणजे माझं फर्स्ट इयर मध्ये अफेक्टिव्ह डोमेन व्हॅल्यू इथिक्सचे कन्सेप्ट आणि फायनल इयरचे इट विल बी हायर लेवल वाईज इट विल चेंज. इट विल चेंज फ्रॉम रिसिविंग टू रिस्पॉन्डिंग, व्हॅल्युइंग, ऑर्गनायझेशन अँड फायनली इंटरनलायझिंग. त्यामुळे माझे जे व्हॅल्यू एज्युकेशनचे फॉर्मल इन्फॉर्मल कोर्सेस आहेत त्यामध्ये स्टेज वाईज, जसं लोएस्ट इज म्हणजे स्टुडंट इज अटेंड सिलेक्टिव्हली टू द स्टिम्युली गिवन. म्हणजे शाळेच्या मुलांना टीचर वर्गात आले, उभे राहा, नमस्ते म्हणा, दॅट दोज टाइप ऑफ सम सिस्टम्स कम्स वेअर स्टुडंट रिस्पॉन्ड टू व्हॉट एव्हर इज टोल्ड. सो दॅट इज द व्हेरी लो स्टेज ऑफ यू कॅन से धिस डोमेन. त्यामुळे जसं आता प्लेगरिझम, आपण पूर्वी प्लेगरिझम वी वर असोसिएटिंग विथ रिसर्च और पब्लिकेशन, बट नाउ प्लेगरिझम इज इंटिग्रल पार्ट ऑफ इवन अवर रेग्युलर असाइनमेंट, टर्म वर्क or practicals. If the student copies only assignment or some term work or some experimental results and values, and still we correct it and give some marks, we will be probably accountable. We have to ensure behavioral pattern, teamwork, value system, work ethics, maybe of the physical world as well as cyberspace, because now everybody lives in two world, physical world and cyber world. So values, ethics of both worlds are to be inculcated into the student, that too based on stages. So our syllabi, our curriculum must cover all 3 domains, and each domain will be in proportional to the level of education. So for each level, म्हणजे आपण सध्या फर्स्ट इयर, सेकंड इयर, थर्ड इयर म्हणूया, त्याच्यामध्ये नॉलेजची स्टेज, स्किलची स्टेज आणि व्हॅल्यू एज्युकेशनची स्टेज ही अप्रोप्रिएट टू दॅट लेवल. म्हणून या ब्लूम्स टेक्सॉनॉमीच्या स्टेजेस ऑफ ऑल 3 डोमेन्स मस्ट बी अंडरस्टूड बाय ईच ऑफ एज्युकेशन प्रोव्हायडर. Now final is about you can say integration of various types. कुठले कुठले टाइप्स एनविजन केले आहेत पॉलिसीमध्ये? वन इज अकॅडमिक एज्युकेशन, विच जे प्रेझेंटली वी आर गिव्हिंग, विच इज मेन फोकस इज ऑन इन्फॉर्मेशन, नॉलेज और कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेन. सो पर्टिक्युलरली आपलं इंजिनिअरिंग तरी इक्वल आहे, वोकेशन इज नाईसली इंटिग्रेटेड इन with academics in engineering. But for humanities, science, commerce, and UGC regulated courses, the focus mainly was on academic education. Second type of education is vocational education. How vocational education is different than academic education? In vocational education, one particular area of economy is taken into consideration. अगदी आपण लोअर लेवल वोकेशनल म्हटलं, फिटर, वेल्डर, एक पर्टिक्युलर ऑक्युपेशन डोळ्यासमोर ठेवून त्या ऑक्युपेशनसाठी नॉलेज आणि स्किल्स त्या विद्यार्थ्याला देऊन वी प्रिपेअर द स्टुडंट स्पेसिफिकली फॉर सर्टन वोकेशन और ऑक्युपेशन. दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज vocational education. Other is technical education, professional education. But one of the strongest recommendation of NEP is इंटिग्रेशन ऑफ व्हेरियस टाइप्स. त्यामुळे व्होकेशनल एज्युकेशनचा स्टुडंट अकॅडमिकला आला पाहिजे. पूर्वी काय होतं, एखादा विद्यार्थी 10वी झाल्यानंतर लोकांना जर वीक वाटला, त्याला म्हणायचं तुला गणित जमत नाही, सायन्स जमत नाही, काही जमत नाही, तू व्होकेशनलला जा, MCVC कर. आणि दॅट वॉज ट्रीटेड ॲज लिटिल बिट इन्फेरियर दॅन मेन स्ट्रीम एज्युकेशन. आणि NEPची ड्राफ्ट कमिटी म्हणते ती फार मोठी चूक झाली. व्होकेशनल एज्युकेशन मस्ट बी इंटिग्रल पार्ट. म्हणून मल्टी एंट्री मल्टी एक्झिट, मोबिलिटी फ्रॉम व्होकेशनल टू अकॅडमिक, अकॅडमिक टू व्होकेशन, इंटिग्रेशन ऑफ व्होकेशनल एज्युकेशन इंटू अकॅडमिक एज्युकेशन, हे इम्पॉर्टंट रिकमेंडेशन आहे. म्हणून आपल्या कोर्सेसमध्ये सुद्धा VSEC आणि SEC, व्होकेशनल स्किल एनहान्समेंट कोर्सेस आणि स्किल एनहान्समेंट कोर्सेस इंटिग्रेट केल्या गेलेल्या आहेत, बिकॉज इट इज द स्ट्रॉंगेस्ट रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ NEP. त्यामुळे आय होप वी हॅव अंडरस्टूड व्हेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ एज्युकेशन. नाउ हिअर फ्रेंड्स, वी ऑलमोस्ट फिनिश अवर सेशन 1 ऑफ अवर पार्ट 1. जसं आपण सुरुवातीला म्हटलं, NEP इम्प्लिमेंटेशन म्हणजे पहिले क्लिअरली स्पेसिफाय करा व्हॉट आर एक्सपेक्टेड लर्निंग आउटकम, आणि ॲट द एंड ऑफ एनी सेशन just check whether those learning outcomes are attained by the participants or learners or not. So continuing with that spirit, let us check whether we have understood the or achieved the learning outcomes, expected learning outcome of our session 1. So what are the pillars of NEP? We know there are 5 pillars: access, equity, quality, affordability, accountability, and we have discussed in detail about each of that pillar. What is the concept of education? Education will be now personalized individuals learning. It will be more about manifestation of perfection which is already existing into our learner. So our role gets changed from preacher to a facilitator. Our role is now to help students to identify themselves, know themselves, and we should also identify the inner attributes, interest, passion of the individual, and according to that, provide all 3 domains: cognitive, skills, and behavior. So our role is now we are more of a facilitator, first critical analyzer, and then facilitator or manifestation. We know what is the mandate given to us, our purpose of existence. 3 गोष्टी: prepare student for meaningful life, happy life, satisfying life, अर्थपूर्ण उद्देशपूर्ण जीवन जगेल याच्यासाठी तयार करा. प्रिपेअर द स्टुडंट फॉर देअर फ्युचर वर्क रोल्स, भविष्यात त्याला जो काय इकॉनॉमिक फील्डमध्ये जाईल तिथे जे त्याला लागेल ते प्रोव्हाइड करणं, हे आपलं आहे. तिसरं, प्रिपेअर स्टुडंट फॉर देअर इकॉनॉमिक इंडिपेंडन्स. आपलं एक्झिस्टन्स म्हणजे का आपण एक्झिस्ट करतो, या 3 गोष्टीच आपण एक्झिस्ट करतो, हा आपल्याला दिलेला मॅन्डेट आहे. आपल्याला डोमेन्स कळले आता. एज्युकेशन मीन्स 3 डोमेन: कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेन, सायकोमोटर डोमेन आणि अफेक्टिव्ह डोमेन. आणि प्रत्येक डोमेनला स्टेज आहे. म्हणजे वी आर मुव्हिंग टुवर्ड्स डोमेन बेस्ड अँड स्टेज बेस्ड एज्युकेशन. कुठल्या लेवलचा विद्यार्थी आहे त्याला तिन्ही डोमेन मधली कुठली स्टेज अप्लिकेबल आहे मॅप करून त्या दृष्टीने प्रिपेअर करणं. म्हणून आपल्याला त्या डोमेन्स आणि प्रत्येक डोमेनच्या स्टेजेस, ब्लूम्स टॅक्सॉनॉमी आपल्याला कळली आहे. एम ऑफ एज्युकेशन आपल्याला कळलं आहे, तिन्ही डोमेन मध्ये देणं. आणि टाइप्स कळले आहेत: अकॅडमिक एज्युकेशन, व्होकेशनल एज्युकेशन, प्रोफेशनल एज्युकेशन, टेक्निकल एज्युकेशन. आणि vision statement says integration of various types is the mandate given to us. So here we complete session 1 of part 1 of our session. आपण मगाशी ठरवल्याप्रमाणे 1 मिनिट थांबूया. If somebody wants to add, कारण you are all learned participants, you are expert people, you are already implementing NEP in autonomous college. So your experiences are very valuable. So for our session one, fundamentals, what was the draft of the Kasturi Rangan sir's committee? What were the problem identified? What solutions they have provided? What are the concepts? Whatever we have covered, for that, if any expert wants to add or just have any query about what I have explained, let us keep 1 minute for interaction, 1 or 2. Then we will go to our second session of our part. Pawar sir, Gujarati sir, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So are we on the right track? Whatever is expected?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. So let us go to session 2. Because after that also we'll have some time for interaction. But in every session also we will keep 1 minute. Now, important part, as I was initially saying also, this Article 12 or Clause 12 of NEP is probably most relevant for we the teachers. देयर में भी क्वेश्चन कि ये ठीक है, इतना बड़ा पॉलिसी है, सब स्टोरी बहुत हो गई, एग्जैक्टली मुझे क्या करना है? मैं टीचर हूँ, मैं थियरी लेता हूँ, प्रैक्टिकल लेता हूँ, प्रोजेक्ट लेता हूँ, मुझे बताओ क्या करना है यार, एग्जैक्टली एनईपी करना है तो that is very clearly given in clause 12. And when any accreditation team will come, no, henceforth, what they will expect from individual teacher, they will generally interview every teacher. We show them our course file, what we have done. So in this now reforms, when probably any accreditation team will come, what they will expect from every teacher is given in this clause 12, and it is about 4 cornerstones of quality learning. So our expected learning outcome for this will be all learned participants will very clearly understand the 4 cornerstones of quality learning given in clause 12, and probably they will be able to implement it at their individual level. It's all about individual teacher. So probably more important for every learned participant. What does this clause 12 of NEP says? It says that there are 4 cornerstones of quality learning. See friends, now there is no mention of teaching. Everywhere you will find it talks about learning, individuals learning, personalized learning. That is what is expected, not more focus on teaching. So what are those 4 cornerstones where learning should happen? Number 1, appropriate curriculum. How does it define appropriate curriculum? Means people may say that university gives us curriculum or our autonomous bodies, BOS and academic bodies council gives us curriculum and we have to implement it. This is not expected. Of course, what university gives, what BOS and academic council of autonomous college gives, that is a framework which has to be implemented. But we have, every teacher has to finely tune it to make it appropriate. Now, appropriate in what sense? A stimulating, engaging learning experience for all students. So whatever curriculum is given, it must be converted into learning experiences. So either experiential learning or bring experiences to the classroom. This is one thing we have to slightly modify our given curriculum. Second thing, attainment of goal of global quality standards. It means an opportunity for social engagement. Community engagement and services is made integral part of education. Definition of college, university, higher education institute itself is now modified. Earlier, the definition of HEI was a place of high quality learning and research. Now, NEP defines HEI as a place of quality higher learning, research, and community engagement and service. So, community engagements and service has been made integral part of is institution and academics also. So, curriculum should be made appropriate by providing some opportunities by every individual teacher for community engagement or social engagement, some community project, some field project, some application of the course in real life situation, and global quality standard must be known. So this is what they talk about appropriate curriculum. We will later on say how all learning outcomes should be included. That part we will see later on. Now, curriculum will include cognitive courses, psychomotor courses, behavioral courses, co-curricular courses, community engagement courses, vocational skills courses, life skills courses. So each vertical will need a separate teaching strategies, teaching methodology, appropriate use of different teaching tools. So pedagogy is what is another important part on individual teacher or for this one of the cornerstones of quality learning. So what they will see, they will ask you what course you are teaching, under which domain does it come, and for that domain what stage of level or stage comes, what are the expected learning outcome, and for that course or for every unit of that course or every bit of unit of that course, it may have different requirement of teaching. A course, co-curricular course cannot have same type of pedagogy as skill course, or skill course cannot have same pedagogy of descriptive knowledge course, theory course. So depending upon the vertical, you have to use different strategy, method, and tool. So pedagogy will be different for each vertical and for each domain of education. So when we any course is given to me to teach to the student or to facilitate the learning of the student, I have to critically analyze which domain it lies at what stage, what are the vertical involved, and for that vertical I will have to use different method. So all of us must understand now what is flipped learning, what is problem based learning, what is peer learning, what is project based learning, what is lecturing, what are different you can say IT tools, what is Mentimeter. So various tools are there. Quizzes. So I must understand IT tools. I must understand various techniques and have use of that appropriate strategy. Ultimately, it should lead to learning, engaging learning experience. Whatever method I use, it has to be verified whether it results into engaging learning experience or not. So whether there may be some experiential learning, some flipped learning, maybe bringing some professor of practice, taking student for field project. So there can be various strategies, and every individual teacher will be expected to design and select right strategy for each vertical. And that is what will be probably asked by accreditation teams what teaching strategies you are using, what tools you are using. and why you are using, what is the expected outcome, are you getting those outcomes, if not, what modifications every time you do. So that type of thing will be required for every teacher. In nutshell, as a teacher, what should I know? I must know various strategies, techniques, tools, and verticals of my own course which I am engaging. Am I using flipped learning? Am I using experiential learning? Am I using blended learning? Am I using online learning? So all those strategies will have to be used. Now, when we say we are implementing NEP, that is the mandate of class 12. Third is assessment. This policy strongly recommends that high-stake examinations focus should be reduced and we should go towards formative assessment. So every teacher should understand the difference between assessment, examination, and evaluation. In assessment also, everyone must understand difference between formative assessment and summative assessment. For continuous formative assessment, every teacher must know the various strategies, techniques, and tools of continuous assessment. Do we use rubrics method? Do we use criteria-based method? Do we use IT-enabled assessment tools? Do we use some fixed duration examinations? So what are the various assessment techniques which are available and which is most appropriate for a given, you can say, course or a given bit or a given set of students? That has to be used, and this is what is expected in class 12 under the cornerstone of quality learning. This is what precisely will be probably checked from individual teacher, that how assessment is being done by what, by that teacher. So we should know various, I will tell later on also, what are various tools which should be used. What is rubrics? What is criteria-based assessment? And for which course, which is the best suitable method? How do I evaluate field work? How do I evaluate industrial, you can say, visit? How do I evaluate internship? How do I evaluate apprenticeship? How do I evaluate regular laboratory experiments? How do I evaluate project? How do I evaluate seminar? How do I evaluate theoretical subjects? So how do I evaluate value-added courses, value education courses, human values? You can say various cultural sports, everywhere we have to evaluate and assess and give the credit to the student. So various tools, techniques of assessment, and NEP strongly recommends continuous formative assessment and very strongly says that high stake examination load should be reduced. So moving towards continuous formative assessment and reducing the focus on high stake examination is the mandate given in class 12 to be the individual teacher. Here, nobody gets involved. It is up to individual teacher. Last stage, for all these things, what type of support is provided to the student in terms of various verticals of curriculum, various strategies which we will be using for teaching and assessment. So everywhere student support will be required. So appropriate curriculum, pedagogy, continuous assessment, and student support are four cornerstones of quality learning. And most important part, for everything, autonomy is given to us. But you will find NEP is a journey from local to global through national. There is a system of credits. There is a system of vertical horizontal mobility. there is a system of transfer of credit, there is a flexibility to earn credit from various sources and get qualifications to avoid chaos and for standardization. Even though we are free, we are liberal, we are, you can say, autonomous for all these things, but all this autonomy is subjected to certain national frameworks. Whether we are affiliated college, whether we are autonomous college, whether we are university of state, private, deemed to be of any state, all are governed and regulated through certain frameworks. Because through academic bank of credit, the facility of transfer of credit and flexibility of getting qualifications from different institutions is provided. So some standardization, some normalization, some regularization of system is required, and that is provided through various framework. So we, individual teacher, in department, institution, have to understand various frameworks under which everybody of us, all will be free, but that freedom will be regulated under national framework. So from that point of view, from curriculum and you can say appropriate curriculum, you will find experiential learning is considered to be very important. And for that, the verticals provided are community engagement service, fieldwork, projects, social innovation, research. For vocational education, internship, on-job training, fieldwork. For apprenticeship, embedded degree programs, even AICT has also this time come out with AEDP, professor of practice, and every institution can run short-term skill courses. So those freedom flexibilities are given in the area of experiential learning, blended learning, online learning, flipped learning, problem-based learning, project-based learning, peer learning. So these all are to be supplemented with our regular classroom lecturing type of a system. For assessment, where every teacher should know what are various strategies, maybe written exam, oral, practical, on demand, peer assessment, self-assessment. So use RISE model, seminar project for individual group, rubrics, assessing presentation, report, portfolio, time constraint examinations, online examination, time bound problem based assignment, closed book, open book examination. So there are various strategies and tools for disciplinary knowledge, Quizzy, Quizlet. TestMod is wonderful. I frequently use TestMod, Mentimeter, and Edpuzzle. So these are for disciplinary knowledge. For problem solving, there are tools. For critical thinking are there. For reflective thinking are there. For cooperation, teamwork, various tools are there. So all of us, all teachers, should use various teaching strategies, various assessment strategies, use various teaching tools, use various assessment tools. This is what is expected in this class 12. You will find, depending for say cognitive domain, depending upon the level, we can use various strategies, including assessment rubrics also. Now let us go to our framework. First framework we will take, and then we will take a break of 5 minutes. So basically, all of us will be regulated or are being regulated through three frameworks, national frameworks. One is National Credit Framework, second is National Higher Education Qualification Framework, and third is Learning Outcome Based Curriculum Framework, that is known as LOCF. So NCRF, NHEQF, and LOCF, these are the three frameworks under which all of us will be operating. So we must understand frameworks. So let us just introduce National Credit Framework, and then we will take a break of 5 minutes. What is this national credit framework? You will find Ministry of Education, UGC, AICT, all our regularity statutory bodies, they have come on same platform and this document is given. What does it mean? Whether we are UGC regulated, AICT regulated or any statutory body except law and medical, all of us are regulated through this document. So it is applicable for all of us. We have got into credit-based system. We are awarding credit. Students are earning credit. Please understand the concept of credit from NCRF point of view. It's not something student appear for exam. If passes, gets credit. If not, not credit. It's not simply like that. It's not conversion of marks into certain credit. Credit has got four important dimensions. And unless all those four dimensions are covered, student cannot earn credit, neither we can give credit. So when accreditation team will come, when audit team will come, when suppose tomorrow some equivalency committee comes for giving equivalency of credit, probably whatever credits we are giving for some subject, a teacher gives the credit. There are some subjects which are exam related credit. So whether it is exam related credit course or non-exam related credit course, wherever credits are awarded and students earn the credit, ensure that these 4 points are taken care of. What are those 4 points? Number one, credit is proportional to the time devoted by student for that course. So it is about one relation with learning hours. Remember, there is difference between contact hours, teaching academic load and students academic load. Suppose I conduct 3 lectures per week. So those 3 hours are contact hours and they are the part of learning hours, but they themselves are not learning hours alone. So understand the difference between contact hours and learning hours, and credits are related with learning hours. So learning hours include contact hours and self-learning like term work hours, examination hours, assessment hours. So wherever learning happens, so contact hours plus term work hours plus exam hours plus self-learning hours together becomes notional learning hours and credits are proportional to the notional learning hours. And as per international standard adopted by NCRA, 30 notional hours per semester is equivalent to one credit course. Second, it's not, this is the one dimension, learning hour. Second is, the basic principle is that credits are function of achieving the desired learning outcomes for a program, course, training determined by successful assessment by competent authority. So credits cannot be awarded or credits cannot be earned unless there is assessment by competent authority. So three more things along with learning hours are essential and every teacher must keep ready. What is that? First is desired learning outcome. So let it be field project, let it be industrial tour, let it be apprenticeship, let it be anything where credits are given, sports, cultural, seminar. First and foremost thing along with learning hour will be to give the clear-cut expected learning outcome statement. So our record must show that if I am taking student for industrial visit, what are the expected learning outcome of that visit? Second thing, after visit is done or whether that learning activity is completed, there has to be assessment, and that too by competent authority. Suppose student comes to us with some certificate stating that student has undergone apprenticeship or industrial training somewhere and brings one certificate, and on the basis of that certificate we award credit, that will not be acceptable. That training, learning hour must be supported with expected learning outcome and assessment by who is competent authority, maybe some central testing agencies, national testing agencies, state testing agencies, universities, autonomous college, even autonomy. Teacher is empowered for assessment. So if some external agency is involved, industry, etc., so we also give some power to supervisor over there and joint assessment. But no assessment, no credit. So assessment has to be there if credit is awarded, and student must demonstrate attainment of those expected outcome. The word successful assessment is used. How do we define successful assessment? When the student demonstrate attainment of expected outcome, then it will be called as successful. And successful assessment, competent authority stating the expected learning outcome, student demonstrating attainment of outcome, and notional learning hours, all these together enable student to earn the credit. So when any audit or equivalency team will come, please ensure that our awarded credits are validated with the record of notional learning hour, expected outcome, assessment, and demonstration of attainment. So these are, without that, no credit will be considered as valid. So this is very important point for all of us, because today we are awarding credit. They are uploaded on academic bank of credit. So students are depositing credits, but tomorrow when some equivalency issue will come or some audit may come, that time we should not face problem. So please ensure that we comply with NCRF and requirement of credit in this respect. And from where credit can be earned? So credit can be earned from wherever learning happens, like academic education, vocational training, experiential learning, classroom, laboratory, examinations. Even those are considered as learning hours. Then competitions, celebration of festival, value addition courses, sports, games, life skills, community work, field visit, then projects, internship, apprenticeship. So wherever learning happens, the learning hours are counted for. Now let us understand how learning hours and credits are mapped. 1 year is considered to be 1,200 learning hours. So earlier we used to say 1 year means 180 teaching days or 2 semesters together or 30 teaching weeks. That is okay. Now, when we are using credit, 1 year will be 1,200 learning hours. What does it mean? Our academic calendar, annual academic calendar must show that we are providing 1,200 learning hours. Then only it will be considered as one academic year. So one semester will be of 600 learning hours. And as per international standards, we are going towards global standard. 1,200 learning hours are equivalent to 4040 to 44 credits. So one semester, 600 learning hours, so 20 to 22 credits. That is why you will find in all GR and our BOAS, Academic Council, they prepare the curriculum of one semester of 20 to 22 credits. From where that 20 to 22 credits have come? They have come from 600 learning hours. So what does it mean? Our academic calendar Yearly must show 1200 learning hours. Semester calendar must show 600 learning hours. One semester generally consists of 15 to 18 weeks. So our weekly calendar must show 35 to 40 learning hours. Remember, these 35 to 40 are learning hours. They are not contact hours. Our contact hours will continue to be 28 to 32 as are there from years together. But students' are learning hours should be additionally 8 hours per week. So our weekly calendar must show 40 learning hours. Semester must show 600 learning hours. Then only our scheme of 20 to 22 credits will be considered as validated. So this is what is important. For one credit, there will be always requirement of 30 notional hours. Generally, for theory or practicals, 1 hour per week, that is 15 hours per week contact hours of theory and tutorial will enable one credit. But along with those 15 contact hours, there must be 15 self-learning or term work hours. Ultimately, whether it is theory or practical, even though in our calendar, 1 hour theory is one credit, 2 hours practical is one credit, but as per NCRF, ultimate account will be of 30 notional hours equivalent to one credit, whether it is theory, practical, project, whatsoever it may be. So that we have to keep in mind. Every teacher should prepare this table. This I have taken from NBA, you can say accreditation reforms document. Every teacher should keep this table because this is what will be considered for validation of our credit. Please see the last column. Whatever are the credits, let it be theory, tutorial, practical, project, whatever may be the vertical, number of credits, say for example, in row 1, the course is of 4 credit, multiply by 30. So total notional hours will be 30 multiplied by credit. So say 120 for, you can say, this thing, theory subject, and suppose it is 2 credit practical, then 60 hours for practical. Generally, we have 1 credit practical, so 30 hours notional hour. But credit multiplied by 30 should be our last but one column. Now, out of say particularly for theory or tutorial, if a course is of 120 hour, 4 credit, that is 120 learning hours, you will find that university or our autonomous college gives 4 hours per week for teaching or tutorial. So 4 hours per week means 4 multiplied by 15, that is 60 hours. So that 4 credit course will have 4 hours of contact hour or 60 hours of contact hour plus whatever is balance, say 60 hours will be self-learning, SL column. It will include term work, self-learning, assessment hour, examination hour, all together will be 60. So contact hour 60 plus SL 60, total learning hours 120 divided by 30, that will become 4 credit course. So this table will be expected from every teacher when any equivalency team or audit team or accreditation team will come to validate the credit awarded or credit earned by the student, which we are putting on Academic Bank of Credit portal. So this is important to be understood from credit framework perspective. So let us have a small assignment. I request Dr. Pawar sir or Gujarati sir to please get it done at your end. Please ask every learned participant to prepare a teaching learning plan for any one semester of program which they are taking. Some teachers may be teaching first year or third year, whatever semester they are presently facilitating for their own semester or their own coursework. Please prepare teaching learning plan like this for your own. If you are able to prepare course code, course title, how many are classroom hours, how many are theory, how many hours are tutorial, and how many credits, so total learning hours and balance term work hours or SL hours. Important point is, for our contact hours, we have got record. अटेंडन्स रेकॉर्ड असतं. आपण वर्गात अटेंडन्स घेतलं असतं, आपल्याला दाखवलं असतं 4 पिरियड आहेत, कॅलेंडर असतं आपल्याजवळ, टाइम टेबल असतो. पण एसएल साठी म्हणजे टर्म वर्क, एक्झाम आणि सेल्फ लर्निंग हे अवर्ससाठी प्रत्येक विद्यार्थ्यांनी त्याचं पोर्टफोलिओ फाईल केलं पाहिजे. आणि सेमिस्टर एंडला जसं बाकी टर्म वर्क सबमिट होतं तसं पोर्टफोलिओ फाईल, की जिथे त्याचा वीकली सेल्फ लर्निंगचा रेकॉर्ड असला पाहिजे आणि आपण जस्टिफाय करू शकलो पाहिजे की जितका क्रेडिटचा कोर्स आहे मल्टिप्लाइड बाय 30 एवढे लर्निंग अवर झालेले आहेत. म्हणजे आपलं रेकॉर्ड प्लस विद्यार्थ्याचं पोर्टफोलिओ रेकॉर्ड हे एसेन्शियल राहील आपल्याला क्रेडिट व्हॅलिडेट आणि जस्टिफाय करायला. मला असं वाटतं इथे आपण 5 मिनिटाचा ब्रेक घेऊया आणि मग आपण नॅशनल हायर क्वालिफिकेशनला जाऊया. पवार सर, इज इट ओके इफ वी टेक 5 minutes break?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Anybody wants to add? Let us give 1 minute for them also if they want to add anything, because they are already giving credit, they are already maintaining the record. If any teacher or any learned our participant wants to supplement what I am saying, let us give 1 or 2 minutes and then we will have a break of 5 minutes.
Any participant, if they want to ask question or any point, they may ask now.
Okay, sir. Let us take a break for 5 minutes. Exactly after 5 to 6 minutes, we will rejoin. Is it okay? Gujarati, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem.
Okay.
After 5 minutes,
Thank
we'll
you.
rejoin.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir, should we just start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, friends, in our last part, we have seen the, you can say, background or how the draft report of Dr. Kasturi Rangan sir was based. We have seen what are the important concept, fundamental spirits such as pillars of NEP, concept of education. Then we have understood importantly clause 12, that is article 12 of NEP, which is most relevant for individual teacher. Other clauses are there for us as well as for a whole education system, but for teachers, clause 12 or article 12 is relevant. Then we have seen that in one way, NEP is journey from local to global and integration of various types of education. We are having good autonomy, flexibility to innovate and create for various verticals, various domains. But all our liberty is subjected to certain frameworks. So we had understood provisions of national credit framework. We have understood concept of credit and how our regular system of particular credit, number of credits given to a course should get matched with the notional learning hours, how credits will be validated with statement of expected learning outcome, the method of assessment of students by some competent authority, and to ensure that students have demonstrated the attainment of those expected learning outcome for every vertical, sports, culture, industrial visit, seminar, theory, practical. So everywhere that is mandatory. If we are awarding credit means there has to be assessment and demonstration of attainment and learning hours. That is how thus credits are awarded. We have seen one semester must our academic calendar show 600 learning hours. Our weekly calendar must show 40 learning hours. Then only semester wise 20 to 22 credit and year wise 40 to 44 credits will be justified. So these are the provisions for of NCRF which are to be implemented at our stage. Now, second important part is we are moving or oriented our education system towards level-based, competency-based, and then qualification. So whole education is classified into levels. For each level, expected competencies are very clearly specified, and when the student demonstrate the attainment of those competency mapping with that level, then that level-based competency-based qualifications are to be awarded. Now, this regulation, this framework will be applicable for everyone, and this framework is aligned with international standard. So let us pick into the provisions of what do we mean by level, what are the competencies very clearly specified for each level, and how level and competency will lead to the qualification. So this is what we are expected to implement when we say we are implementing, you can say NEP. So this instrument again, you will find Ministry of Education, UGC, AICT, all regularity bodies, statutory bodies have come on the same platform, had lot many detailed international expert discussions, international organizations involvement, and then finally this national framework mapping with international framework has come out. Just 1 minute I will give you that even though NHEQF has come out after implementation of NEP, qualification framework concept was already in vogue even before draft of this policy was submitted. So before 2013 also, we had qualification framework for vocations and vocational education and skill education. It was known as National Vocation Qualification Framework, then National Vocational Education Qualification Framework, and National Skills Qualification Framework, NVF, NVEQF, and NSQF. Now, these frameworks, national frameworks, were formed in association with international level organization and international various institutions and organizations, particularly to standardize the skill sets and qualifications of vocational workers and skilled workers. Same is extended to higher education now. We know that we are going for globalization, so this qualification framework is also in accordance with global standards. India has aligned its framework with European Union's framework, that is known as Bologna process, and the parameters of those frameworks are known as Dublin parameters. So our framework is our own national framework, but you will find it is aligned with Dublin parameters and Bologna process, and framework is aligned with European Union framework. This background of NVF, NEVF, NSQF, Bologna, Dublin must be known to every participant, because our journey is from local to global through national. So that is very clear when we say we are implementing NEP. So as usual for this session, expected learning outcome will be all learned participants will not only be able to understand, but they will be able to implement also level-based, competency-based structure in higher education. We are moving towards level-based, competency-based, and then competency-based qualifications, that type of structure. So all of us will now understand as well as will be able to implement it at our own end. Now, what are the objectives of this NHEQF? Number one, for each level, the academic standards and learning outcomes are very clearly defined. We are going towards outcome-based education system. For each level, very clearly the standards and outcomes are specified. Second thing, it enables horizontal and vertical mobility across various disciplines. Multidisciplinary education, integration of various types of education to ensure smooth integration, this framework is useful. Of course, international comparability will always be there. We are going towards globalization. Now let us go into NHEQF. Whole education system is now classified into 8 classes. 1 to 4 is for school education. So earlier what we used to call 12th pass, now it will be called as level 4 completed. And anybody who has completed level 4 can enter into level 4.5. Now earlier 10 plus 2 was the concept. Now it's not necessary that student will come only 10 plus 2 and attend level 4. A student after 8 can go other way around and reach up to level 4 through vocational courses, polytechnic courses, but still the student will be able to enter into level 4.5. So tomorrow you may have student who has done 10th but not 11, 12 but entering in higher education. You may have student who has completed 8th but no formal 9, 10th, 11, 12. But at National Testing Level Agency has shown attainment of level 4 and is able to come to level 4.5, that is university. So this is what is for school education. We will not go into detail for school, but for higher education, qualifications, this classification will be from level 4.5 to 8. What does it mean? What we call presently as first year, first and second semester, will be level 4.5 and PhD doctorate will be level 8. So complete from first year to PhD, the whole education system is classified into levels 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5 and 8. ऐसा classification किया हुआ है. For each level, very clearly attributes and learning descriptors are given. What is the importance takeaway for us? Suppose I am designing curriculum for second year, say. So we have to must map it. Oh, I am talking about level 5. When I say level 5, immediately go to document NHEQA and check for level 5, what are the attributes and learning descriptors. You will find they are given in 3 domains: knowledge domain, skill domain, behavior domain. And my curriculum, my syllabi, my teaching, my assessment must match with those attributes and descriptors mentioned against that particular level. Then only it will be considered that we have adopted NHEQF and we are implementing NEP. Now, this enables modular structure with multiple entry and exit options. So these are the key features. So let us understand how level, year, qualification and credits, they get mapped. When I say exit year is first year, a student leaves after first year, means semester 1 and 2. Earlier, student was not given any certification, but now completing first year means completing level 4.5, earning 40 plus 4 credits, studying for 1200 learning hours, and if the student exit, the student will be awarded certificate. Else, student will come to what we call it as second year, that is semester 3 and 4. And when student completes, say, semester 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, it will be deemed that student have completed level 5. Student has studied for 2,400 learning hours. Student has earned 80 plus 4 credit vocational or internship. And if the student exit from the system, will be given diploma. So like that, year, level, learning hours, credit, and qualifications, they are mapped in this framework. Obviously, level 4.5 will be lowest for higher education, level 8 PhD will be highest. Now, each level represents different level of skill, complexity, knowledge, responsibility, and autonomy. These are the parameters on which descriptors are given. And student must demonstrate the competency commensurating with that level. Now, how that competency will be decided? Through the descriptors given in terms of skill, knowledge, responsibility, and autonomy. So this is how they will be given. So as I was telling, if I combine credit framework and qualification framework, each year for how many semesters student will learn, which level he will complete, how many learning hours will be there. Through those learning hours and all those 4 parameters I mentioned, how many credits student will have to earn, and on exit, if the student exists, then only qualification like certificate, diploma, 3 years bachelor, 4 years bachelor with honors and research, such type of qualifications will be given. Now, right from beginning, I am saying there will be level. For that level, there will be clearly well-worded specifications, learning statements, what is expected student to learn. There will be very clear competencies expected with that level. Let us understand those competencies. Now you will find that each level will be structured based on well-defined outcomes. That is the statement, what the learner is expected to know, understand, or will be able to do, and what type of behavior, what type of role student will be able to do at that specified level. What is important is student has to demonstrate those attributes in terms of attainment of expected learning outcome. But the mode of learning is not important. Student may learn through direct in-person, open learning, distance learning, online learning, experiential learning, flipped learning, project-based learning, hybrid mode, blended mode. Mode of learning is not important, but demonstrating the attainment of outcome is the basis of giving, assessing competency and giving qualification. Friends, on this one statement of NHEQF, UGC, AICT, Ministry of Education, and NEP has made a statement that 40% of the credit can be earned even through open platform like Swayam. So it's not necessary that students learn only from me. My role has become more as an assessor. I have to ensure whether student, because I am competent authority of assessment. So even though students do not attend any course from me, but in my assessment, student shows, demonstrate the attainment, I have to give credit and qualification to that. This is where slightly red signal is there for we the teacher and we the institution. But whatever is there, let us understand it. How to overcome those difficulties, we will check. But important point here is this, that student can learn through any mode of learning, but important is assessment. So our focus on continuous assessment, formative assessment has to be more along with our teaching learning activities. Now, my next expected learning outcome from learned participant is everybody of us now will be able to understand and frame qualification descriptor for every level. What are the descriptors of competencies? Let us understand those as given. As I told you that every descriptor or graduate attributes, they are given in accordance with Dublin parameters. So there are 5 parameters on which those statements are given. What are those parameters? For each level, there will be statement expected learning outcomes on 5 parameters. First is knowledge. Second is skills. Again, same domain you will find. Aptitude, broad learning outcome, and level of responsibility. So very clear statements are given. If the student is of level 4.5, what responsibility student is expected to show, and that has to be demonstrated, validated in our assessment. If student is of level 5, what level of knowledge and skill is expected from him? What level of responsibility? So those are very clearly specified. In professional knowledge, the statement will clearly give us what learner should know and understand with reference to subject and field of knowledge of that level. It is described in terms of depth, breadth, kind, and complexity. Depth can be general, specialized. Breadth can be from single topic to multidisciplinary area. Kind can be from concrete to abstract. And complexity will be combination of all these things. So for each level, very clearly, depth, breadth, complexity are mentioned. And what is for us to do? Check the level. Check the statement given in this NHEQF for theoretical subject. According to the level, I must have curriculum and syllabus which will map. So depth of the subject, breadth of the subject for lower level should not be too high, while for higher level it should not be too shallow. Let us understand how it is given. Similarly, second will be statements will be given about competency in skills, both cognitive and creative skills, intuitive, logical, critical thinking, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and basic skills involving dexterity, use of method, material, tool, instrument, IT skills for a given level of study and work. Remember, we have to prepare student for future work. So suppose level 4 student, if is exit with certificate, what level of skill is expected? As against if the student leave after 4 years, what level of competency is expected in skill for 4th year student? So very clearly those statements are given, but we have to design curriculum, syllabi, our teaching and assessment in accordance with the statements which we will give. So similarly for behavior is given, learning outcome is given. What level of responsibility student can be given, how much supervision that student will be required. If after certificate he goes out, what degree of supervision that person will be capable of exercising over others proportionate to the level. सर्टिफिकेट लेवल किती जणांचं सुपरविजन करू शकला पाहिजे, डिप्लोमा होल्डर किती जणांचं करू शकला पाहिजे, तो कशासाठी रिस्पॉन्सिबल असेल. All those things are specified in this, you can say, NHEQF. Let us understand for knowledge understanding domain मध्ये लेवल बेस्ड स्टेटमेंट्स काय आहेत. मला जितकेही थिअरीचे सब्जेक्टचं करिक्युलम तयार करायचं आहे, डिस्क्रिप्टिव नॉलेज असू द्या, प्रोसीजरल नॉलेजचं असू द्या, इफ मुझे फर्स्ट ईयर का बनाना है, सेकंड ईयर का बनाना है, थर्ड ईयर का बनाना है, तो थियरी सब्जेक्ट के लिए जब मैं एक सिलेबस करिकुलम बनाऊंगा, पढ़ाऊंगा या एग्जाम लूंगा, ये स्टेटमेंट जो दिए है उसके मैपिंग ही मुझे करना है. वेदर आई एम लोकेटेड एट एक्स और प्लेस और वाई प्लेस, this is applicable for everybody nationally and it is in accordance with international standard. Say for example, element of descriptor knowledge or understanding है cognitive domain का, मैं लेवल 4.5 दैट इज सेमिस्टर 1 और 2 का करिकुलम बना रहा हूँ, सिलेबस बना रहा हूँ, पढ़ा रहा हूँ, एग्जाम ले रहा हूँ. व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्टेड? द स्टूडेंट शुड बी एबल टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट. क्या डेमोन्स्ट्रेट है एक्सपेक्टेड है उनसे? knowledge of fact, concept, principle, theory, processes in broad multidisciplinary learning context within the chosen field of learning. उसको सिर्फ फर्स्ट ईयर में, फर्स्ट और सेकंड सेमिस्टर में वॉट एवर चोजन फील्ड ऑफ लर्निंग है, अभी 12th के बाद उसको क्लासिफिकेशन होगा ह्यूमैनिटीज अप टू 12th. प्रोबेबली नोबडी अभी अपने सिस्टम में 10th के बाद साइंस, कॉमर्स, आर्ट्स का बच्चा डाइवर्ट होता है. नाउ प्रोबेबली अप टू 12th देयर विल नॉट बी सच अर्ली स्पेशलाइजेशन. आफ्टर 12th और लेवल 4 स्टूडेंट विल चूज फील्ड ऑफ लर्निंग. मुझे ह्यूमैनिटीज में जाना है, कॉमर्स में जाना है या इंजीनियरिंग में जाना है. उसके चोजन फील्ड ऑफ लर्निंग का जो फर्स्ट ईयर रहेगा, फर्स्ट सेमिस्टर और सेकंड सेमिस्टर, उसमें ब्रॉड मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी लर्निंग एरिया चाहिए. फर्स्ट ईयर का सिलेबस डायरेक्ट वो सब्जेक्ट, और उसने जो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में या तो कंप्यूटर में लिया है तो डायरेक्ट उसको फर्स्ट सेमिस्टर सेकंड सेमिस्टर में कंप्यूटर ही पढ़ाना शुरू नहीं करना है. अलॉन्ग विद दैट 2-3 एरियाज मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच उसको देने हैं। और फर्स्ट ईयर सेकंड ईयर के सिलेबस में breadth and depth of syllabi should be such that only fact, concept, principle, theory, descriptive knowledge और प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज दोनों भी कंपोनेंट चाहिए, लेकिन उसकी डेप्थ ब्रेड डिटेल नहीं चाहिए। सो डोंट प्रिपेयर syllabi of first second semester with very deep or very broad or very complex or only one discipline. Have it multidisciplinary एंड उसको कैनवास बताना है कि भाई ये 2-3 डिसिप्लिन आपने चीज, साइंस आपने चूज किया है, ओके, साइंस में 2-3 डिसिप्लिन है, उसमें जनरली ये चीजें आती है। अब वहां पे स्टूडेंट का इंटरेस्ट, पैशन सिलेक्ट करके देन इन आफ्टर सेकंड सेमिस्टर, दैट इज लेवल 5 में स्टूडेंट फाइनलाइज करेगा कि विच इज एरिया इज द स्टूडेंट वांट्स टू गो इनटू। इसलिए जब स्टूडेंट सेकंड ईयर में आएगा, लेवल 5 में आएगा, दैट टाइम फर्स्ट ईयर का उसको मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी थियोरेटिकल प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज पता लग चुका है। नाउ इन आफ्टर सेकंड सेमिस्टर, दैट इज इन थर्ड सेमिस्टर, दैट इज इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ लेवल 5, डीपर नॉलेज एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ वन ऑफ द लर्निंग एरिया, मेजर और माइनर। अब थर्ड सेमिस्टर में स्टूडेंट फाइनल करेगा ये मेरा मेजर एरिया है, इसमें मुझे पैशन है, इंटरेस्ट है, इसमें मुझे ज्यादा पढ़ना है। अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट नाउ यू हैव टू टेक हिम इनटू डीप। अब लेवल 5 में उसको डीप लेके जाना है इन डिस्क्रिप्टिव नॉलेज एंड प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज बोथ। वन ऑफ द, अब इसमें मेजर और माइनर उसका हो जाएगा, बाकी वर्टिकल आ जाएगी, लेकिन जो मेजर उसने सब्जेक्ट लिया है उसका डीप देना शुरू करना है थर्ड सेमिस्टर में, फर्स्ट सेकंड सेमिस्टर में नहीं। when the student comes to level 5.5, that is semester 5 and 6, that time उसने पहले मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी लिया है, फिर एक फील्ड में मेजर में वो डीपर भी जा रहा है, उसके बाद उसको कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव फैक्चुअल थियोरेटिकल स्पेशलाइज्ड नॉलेज भी आ चुका है। नाउ थर्ड ईयर सिलेबस में करंट एंड इमर्जिंग इश्यूज एंड डेवलपमेंट विद इन chosen field of learning, अब उसको करंट और emerging issues of the major as well as minor, now we are taking him to the advanced level, we are talking about only theory subject right now। अगर वो लेवल 6 में आता है फोर्थ ईयर में, then research based advanced knowledge, research based knowledge, future technologies or future based, you can say, knowledge, that will become part of level 6। so theoretical subject का जो curriculum syllabus बनाना, पढ़ाना और एग्जाम देनी है, वो फर्स्ट ईयर में should be not very deep, not very broad, multidisciplinary type, जिसमें कैनवास उसको पता लग रहा है। थर्ड फोर्थ सेमिस्टर में उसको डीप लेके जाना है, इलेक्टिव देने हैं, गो इनटू डीप ऑफ कंटेम्पररी नॉलेज। थर्ड ईयर में इमर्जिंग इश्यूज, करंट इश्यूज उसको वो लाइन के बताने हैं, और फोर्थ ईयर में रिसर्च बेस्ड एडवांस्ड नॉलेज बेस्ड लेके जाना है। सो दिस इज हाउ our theory subject curriculum, syllabus, teaching, assessment should be there. Now what about skill domain? What is given? Very clearly for first year 4.5, second year 5, third year 5.5, fourth year 6, again what competencies, skills, application is expected, that is also very clearly mentioned. If I take certificate course first year, what is expected? A application of acquired operational technical knowledge, cognitive skill, practical skills, कुछ लेवल तक, कुठल्या लेवल पर्यंत, to select and use basic methods, tools, material, information to generate solution to specific problem। एम ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट बताया है उसको, उसको सब बेसिक मेथड दिया है, बेसिक टूल्स दिया है, बेसिक मटेरियल दिया है, पूरा डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन दिया है। उसमें कॉम्पिटेंसी आनी चाहिए उसको कि जो प्रॉब्लम दिया है उसका सॉल्यूशन, एम ऑफ द एक्सपेरिमेंट उसको आ जाना चाहिए, और वो बहुत परफेक्ट हो जाना चाहिए यूजिंग बेसिक मेथड टूल्स मटेरियल, बट एवरीथिंग इज गिवन डेमोन्स्ट्रेटेड टू दैट स्टूडेंट, क्योंकि वो सर्टिफिकेट होने के बाद सॉर्ट ऑफ ए स्किल्ड वर्कर, ये लेवल का उसका जॉब प्रोफाइल रहने वाला है। तो स्किल्ड वर्कर के लेवल के लिए ऑफ एनी डिसिप्लिन, कॉमर्स, आर्ट, ह्यूमैनिटीज, इंजीनियरिंग, वो लेवल के स्किल्ड तक का उसको पढ़ाना है, उतना स्किल है। नाउ द स्टूडेंट कम्स टू सेकंड ईयर, ये तो उसको पहले बताया हुआ है स्किल मेथड तो आने ही चाहिए। नाउ स्टूडेंट शुड बी एबल टू जनरेट, गैदर क्वांटिटेटिव एंड क्वालिटेटिव डाटा। अब उसको एनालिटिकल क्रिटिकल सिर्फ यूज नहीं करना है, उसको अब डाटा बेस्ड डाटा एनालिटिक्स बेस्ड जो कुछ वो कर रहा है उसका क्वांटिटेटिव और क्वालिटेटिव डाटा गैदर करना उसको आना चाहिए। नाउ व्हेन द स्टूडेंट कम्स टू थर्ड ईयर, ये पहले 2 साल के तो उसको आने ही चाहिए। नाउ एनालिसिस ऑफ क्वालिटेटिव एंड क्वांटिटेटिव डाटा and to assess appropriateness of different approaches of solving problem। मेरा थर्ड ईयर का प्रैक्टिकल एक एम ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट दे दिया, सब एक्सपेरिमेंटल सेटअप दिया और स्टूडेंट को डाटा ऑब्जर्वेशन कर और कैलकुलेशन कर, ऐसा एक्सपेरिमेंट चलेगा नहीं। थर्ड ईयर प्रैक्टिकल में जनरल प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट दे रहे, स्टूडेंट को फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल करके दे रहे, एंड स्टूडेंट शुड बी एबल टू चूज करेक्ट मेथड, करेक्ट इंस्ट्रूमेंट। ओनली हमको उस वक्त उसको गाइड करना है, हाउ टू सिलेक्ट इंस्ट्रूमेंट, हाउ टू सिलेक्ट मेथड, एंड देयर मे बी मोर देन वन मेथड टू सॉल्व ए गिवन प्रॉब्लम। वो 2-3 मेथड में से विच वन इज द मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट टू सॉल्व ए गिवन प्रॉब्लम, इस टाइप का उसका एटीट्यूड, इस टाइप का स्किल, that is what will be expected from third year student. While from fourth year student, it will be research approach, advanced thinking approach, new synthesis approach, creating something new from existing knowledge। ये टाइप का उसको एक्सपेरिमेंट, स्किल्स, प्रोजेक्ट्स that will be expected from fourth year, that is level 6। So this is how our skilling laboratories, you can say projects, mini project of first year, how it will be different than minor project, how major project will be different। ये conceptualization पे हमारा laboratories, हमारा experiential learning, हमारा project based learning, हमारा problem solving learning, that will differ from first year to second, second to third, and third year to fourth year। पहले हमें ये जो स्पेसिफिकेशंस दिए हुए हैं NHEQF के, वो पहले सामने रखने पड़ेंगे और हमको मैप करना पड़ेगा हमारा करिकुलम, सिलेबस, हमारा टीचिंग और असेसमेंट, इट इज मैपिंग विद दैट लेवल। सो दिस इज गिवन वेरी क्लियरली फॉर परफॉर्मिंग एंड अकम्प्लिशिंग टास्क, because we are preparing student for their future job role। So I will not read it again, but what is expected, it is very clearly given। Now education means 3 domain, उसको cognitive domain, डिस्क्रिप्टिव नॉलेज, प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज, 21st सेंचुरी स्किल, उसके साथ साथ उसका बिहेवियर, एटीट्यूड और वैल्यू एंड इथिक्स भी देने हैं। अब अफेक्टिव डोमेन में क्या क्या एक्सपेक्टेड है कि जिसमें एम्प्लॉयमेंट रेडी स्किल्स है, तो उसमें फर्स्ट ईयर में लेवल 4.5 में एबिलिटी टू एक्सरसाइज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और कंप्लीशन ऑफ असाइंड टास्क, उसको जो काम दिया है वो पूरा कर सकता है और उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले सकता है, ये हमको डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करना है। तो हमारे जितने भी को करिकुलर कोर्सेस, वैल्यू एजुकेशन कोर्सेस है, वैल्यूज और अदर अलाइड कोर्सेस है, एबिलिटी एनहेंसमेंट कोर्सेस है, हमारे फर्स्ट ईयर में हमको ये डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करना है कि स्टूडेंट खुद के काम की पूरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेता है, नो प्लेगरिज्म, ये वैल्यू बेस्ड है, वो कोई दूसरे का कॉपी करके करता नहीं, और वो खुद का काम है और उसके लिए वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेता है। वही बच्चा जब सेकंड ईयर में आता है, ये तो उसने खुद की तो लेनी है, लेकिन सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट विद इन द गाइडलाइंस भी करना है, or take up the job employment related to chosen field requiring full personal responsibility of completion of task output as well as a responsibility for the group. एक छोटे ग्रुप में वो काम कर रहा है, खुद के काम की तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले ही रहा है, लेकिन ग्रुप की भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वो ले रहा है. दैट इज व्हाट वी विल हैव टू शो, वैलिडेट. अब हमारा जो ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट्स है, ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज का जो असेसमेंट है, उसके जो रूब्रिक्स बनाने हैं, उसके जो क्राइटेरिया बनाने हैं, फर्स्ट ईयर के लिए अलग रहेंगे, सेकंड ईयर के लिए अब और अलग हो रहेंगे, क्योंकि फर्स्ट ईयर में वो इथिकल बिहेवियर में खुद के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले सकता है. सेकंड ईयर में वो छोटे ग्रुप के लिए खुद का काम, खुद की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, खुद का आउटपुट और ग्रुप का भी आउटपुट, उसकी भी वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले सकता है. ये वैलिडेट करने वाली सिस्टम हमको हमारे लेवल पे बनानी पड़ेगी. अब वो स्टूडेंट अगर थर्ड ईयर में आ गया, अब थर्ड ईयर में आ गया, देन ही इज बिकमिंग 3 इयर्स डिग्री होल्डर. अब उसको खुद की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, छोटे ग्रुप की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के साथ साथ बड़े ग्रुप, बिकॉज ही मे बिकम ए मैनेजर, so there may be number of groups under, so he has to show as a team he can lead the team as well as he can be a part of team under somebody else leadership also. ये एट्रीब्यूट्स उसमें डेवलप हो चुके हैं. इस टाइप की पूरी सिस्टम हमको अफेक्टिव डोमेन के लिए थ्रू वेरियस वर्टिकल्स में एबिलिटी के होंगे, स्किल कोर्सेस होंगे, प्रोजेक्ट के होंगे, सेमिनार्स होंगे, फील्ड विजिट्स होंगे, टूर्स होंगे, सो देयर विल बी कल्चरल्स होंगे, स्पोर्ट्स होंगे. सो एवरी वर्टिकल विल बी लुक फ्रॉम दिस पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंसीज. फोर्थ ईयर का स्टूडेंट पोटेंशियल रिसर्चर हो सकता है, साइंटिस्ट हो सकता है, तो वो एज ए साइंटिस्ट उसके जो एट्रीब्यूट्स रहेंगे, दोज आर एक्सपेक्टेड इन फोर्थ ईयर. सो सिमिलरली वैल्यू सिस्टम्स, क्योंकि अभी वैल्यू सिस्टम दो टाइप की है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल यूनिवर्सल ह्यूमन वैल्यूज, ये फिजिकल वर्ल्ड के है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ एवरीबडी नाउ लिव्स इन टू डोमेन, एक फिजिकल वर्ल्ड में, एक साइबर वर्ल्ड में. तो साइबर वर्ल्ड इज आल्सो हैविंग इट्स ओन वैल्यूज, इथिक्स, ईमेल्स के बारे में है, यू कैन से हैकिंग के बारे में है. सो देयर आर वेरियस इशू. तो हमको फर्स्ट ईयर में फिजिकल वर्ल्ड और साइबर वर्ल्ड दोनों के वैल्यूज सिस्टम और वो लेवल के हिसाब से इनकलकेट हो गए. व्हाट आर द वैल्यूज वेरी क्लियरली गिवन फॉर ईच लेवल. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट वी हैव टू वैलिडेट. अगर मैं समराइज कर लिया ये सब चीजें, सो फर्स्ट ईयर में व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्टेड, इट विल हैव 2 सेमेस्टर 1 and 2, इट विल हैव 1200 लर्निंग आवर, इट विल गिव 40 and 4 स्किल कोर्स क्रेडिट. बट नॉलेज कंपोनेंट में बेसिक कंसेप्ट है और स्किल कंपोनेंट में बेसिक कॉग्निटिव डिफाइंड टास्क है. वही सेकंड ईयर में 1 2 3 4 सेमेस्टर्स है, 40 + 40 80 क्रेडिट्स है, 1200 + 1200 2400 लर्निंग आवर्स है. लेकिन थियोरेटिकल सब्जेक्ट में डिस्क्रिप्टिव नॉलेज, प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज दोनों भी लगेंगे, लेकिन उसमें डीपर इन वन एरिया मेजर, और स्किल्स में मॉडरेट लेवल कॉग्निटिव स्किल्स ऑफ एनालाइजिंग एंड सिंथेसाइजिंग द आइडिया. वही थर्ड ईयर के बच्चे में कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव एंड स्पेशलाइज्ड नॉलेज एंड इवेल्युएशन एंड सॉल्विंग कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम ऑफ हायर ऑर्डर एनालिटिकल स्किल्स. वही फोर्थ ईयर में एडवांस रिसर्च बेस्ड नॉलेज एंड रिसर्च बेस्ड टेक्निक फॉर सिंथेसिस, जजमेंट, इवेल्युएशन of ideas and new concepts. So like that, for every element, depending upon the level, we have very clearly identified the attributes expected. On this basis only, curriculum, syllabus, teaching, assessment and examination has to be there. So if I just summarize all descriptors and level based, so summarizing, first year level 4.5 is foundational knowledge and basic technical skills. level 5 intermediate skill to synthesize information और मिड लेवल रोल्स के लिए हम उनको बना रहे हैं और उसको लर्नेबिलिटी कंटिन्यूअस एकेडमिक प्रोग्रेस द स्टूडेंट शुड शो दैट ही कैन लर्न ऑन हिज ओन थर्ड ईयर के स्टूडेंट में इट इज हायर ऑटोनॉमी रिसर्च इन्फॉर्म डिसीजन मेकिंग फोर्थ ईयर में एडवांस लेवल integrating research and depth in the field. We are preparing students for postgraduate study, research, leadership, entrepreneurship. We are mandate is prepare student for their future roles. Keeping future roles of certificate, diploma, degree, and degree with honors research. Keep those roles in mind according to these descriptors are given, and these are the key differentiators of curriculum, syllabi, teaching, and assessment. Now, ultimately, when any audit will come, how they will check whether we are following level based or not? The best way will be they will ask us, how do you assess it? आपके क्वेश्चन पेपर बताइए, यूनिवर्सिटी के भी बताइए, फाइनल एग्जाम के भी बताइए, मिड टर्म एग्जाम के बताइए, इंडिविजुअल टीचर जो जो असेसमेंट करता है वो क्वेश्चन पेपर या तो वो मेथड बताइए दैट विल शो वेदर वी आर फॉलोइंग लेवल बेस्ड कॉम्पिटेंसीज और नॉट. ये मैंने बनाया हुआ है. सो व्हाट वर्ब्स जनरली वी शुड यूज और थियरी डिस्क्रिप्टिव और प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज कॉग्निटिव डोमेन का जो सब्जेक्ट है उसके लिए क्या है. अगर मैं फर्स्ट ईयर का टीचर हूँ, फर्स्ट और सेकंड सेमेस्टर का, descriptor says it should be basic understanding, use of fact, tools, and procedure. So Bloom's taxonomy wise, I should be in remember, understanding, and apply. So some questions can be defined, state the law, very few questions, because memorizing and recalling already learned information is permitted at first year. So you can have few questions which will start with define, state, state the law, something like that, list, identify. But major should be on comprehension, understanding. So have more questions on explain, describe, and few questions on application also. So first three stages of Bloom's taxonomy. So let us have some simple calculation, selection, demonstration, so that student is able to apply fundamental thing. If I am a examiner or teacher of second year level 5, what is expected descriptor wise? Moderate depth, perform routine task, some synthesis. Now we are taking student into depth. So on Bloom's level, what is expected is memory is not expected. So do not have questions like define or state the law. Not expected. एक दो रहे तो ठीक है, बट बहुत ज्यादा क्वेश्चन अगर हमारे डिफाइन और स्टेट द लॉ मेमोरी बेस्ड रहेंगे तो दे विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट इट. Our level should be understand, apply, and analyze. So more question should be little bit some question on understand level, that is explain, describe, but more should be on classify, illustrate, then summarize, and something on analysis. So analyze, compute, solve, compare. So those type of verbs should be more used for second year student, third and fourth semester. If I am a teacher of third year, level 5.5, for theory subject, descriptive, procedural, both knowledge, what is expected is we are preparing problem solver, complex problem, evaluator. Student should be able to make judgments and his professional readiness. So Bloom's stages of apply, analyze, evaluate. Remember and understand is not expected. So in third year, have almost no question on define or state the law like that. Very few questions, one or two at the most. Explain, describe, because understanding is not expected, but it should be completely on apply, analyze, and evaluate. So my starting work, my question should start with analyze, design, justify, evaluate, recommend, simulate, construct, develop, So this is what is expected. And for fourth year, it is more of synthesis. So analyze, evaluate, and create. That is the stage of fourth year. So my question, I should not have anything memory based. Very little on understanding, something on application, but more thrust. Majority of my assessment should be on analyze, evaluate, and create. So formulate, hypothesize, synthesize, propose, model, validate, innovate, argue, defend, optimize, create, derive. Such type of verbs should be used for assessment. My question paper, my assessment will show I am mapping with level based as expected in NHEQF. So if I summarize, what is expected after first year? So I have mentioned it very clearly. What is expected at level 5, that is second year? What for we are preparing from whatever discussion we had, I have just summarized it. Let me give you a small assignment. On whatever description on the basis of NHEQF, on the basis of small points I have taken it out. Can you please write descriptors, attributes for level 5.5 of your own program? That is third year. What are the expected outcomes, qualification descriptors on all those 5, you can say, parameters? Theoretical knowledge parameter, skill parameter, attitude parameter, overall outcome parameter, and responsibility to which that student we are preparing. So can we describe the parameters for our own third year, that is level 5.5, that is semester 5 and 6 students, learners? If we are able to do, then we have understood NHEQF, and precisely this is what we have to implement when we say we are implementing NEP at our own institute level. What we are to do, we have to prepare schemes as per credit framework. We have to prepare curriculum and syllabus as per NHEQF. So keep outcomes mentioned in NHEQF level wise, mapping with that, prepare the syllabi of first, second, third, or fourth year of undergraduate program. NCRF and NHEQF are fundamental document on which learning outcome based curriculum framework, that is LOCF, is based. So these are the main transformations which are coming. We are going towards flexible curricular. 40% credits are allowed to platform, open, distance, online, everything is permitted. Academic bank of credit is there, and either 3 years or 4 years bachelor's degree. Now, on this basis, now if I look out exactly how my verticals, my curriculum, or how LOCF, learning outcome based curriculum framework, is coming, see the policy statement of NEP. Only one para note completely tells us how will be our system or how our system has been already developed. It is holistic education, multidisciplinary. Holistic, we know all 3 domains and all those 5 parameters. And it has to be multidisciplinary to remove the silos, present silo system. Student should enable, education should enable an individual. See the word individual used. Individual's learning, personalized learning is the important point. To study one or more specialized area of interest at deep level, major and minor, develop character, ethical values. So affective domain, value domain, behavioral domain, spirit of service, community engagement and service, 21st century capabilities. So vocational skill courses of 21st century, skill enhancement courses of 21st century, and range of discipline, science, social science, arts, humanities, languages. So open electives, ability enhancement courses, and integration of professional, technical, and vocational subjects. So each word of this policy statement, only one para, tells about how our verticals and curriculum will look like. Now, if I see the GR and if I see how we have prepared the curriculum for last 3 years, when we say we are implementing, you will find we cover all three domains: cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affective domain. So various verticals of the courses, you will find they include descriptive procedural knowledge, training, skilling, equal weightage is given, as well as weightage is given for development of attitude and behavior. When we use the word program, say engineering program, science program, humanities, so those are the broad learning areas. Student will select after 12th or level 4. Presently, students select it after 10th, but probably when NEP will be fully implemented in school, you will find 12th student, level 4 student will not essentially from science, arts, commerce like discipline. They will come with basket of courses. And then at level 4.5, they will decide what will be the learning area of interest that time. From that learning area, student will have discipline of interest. So like suppose science, physics, chemistry, for you, economics, computer, civil, mechanical. And in first year, student will not go for major. The student will be exposed for 2, 3 discipline, and finally in third semester, student will finalize. One more area, specialized area, deep level, major, multidisciplinary minor, interdisciplinary minor, and open elective. You will find courses of 21st century skills, competencies, capability, some courses of humanities, ability enhancement course, English course, then other language course, some courses of science, other discipline like environmental discipline, management, financial literacy. There will be mandatory courses on spirit of service. So community engagement and service. So these CC courses, every student, irrespective of the discipline, irrespective of the program, every student will have to earn credits from community engagement service, the vertical of spirit of service. No degree, no certificate, no diploma will be awarded unless students earn credit through vertical of community or social engagement and service. So there will be value courses, vocational courses, life skills courses. This is what is our precise the syllabus. So if you see the verticals of NEP given, 6, 7 verticals are given, they are all related with whatever discussion we had up till now. So this justifies why so many verticals, what is the relevance of each vertical. All three domains, all stages, they are covered under various verticals. You will find how credits are distributed. You will find one semester will be of 20 credits, means 600 learning hours. 1 year will be of 40 credits, 1200 learning hours. Every one credit must show 30 notional hours. Out of that, for theory tutorial, contact hours, 1 hour per week, that is 15 hours per semester, contact hours, 15 hours self-learning hours, together 30 notional hours will enable student to earn 1 credit of theory. For practical, 2 hours, that is for 15 weeks, 30 hours will enable to earn 1 credit for lab and practical courses. So this is how precisely complete distribution of verticals and credits are done. So let us take 1 minute break. Just if anybody wants to add about NHEQF, verticals, how those verticals are distributed, why so many verticals, and what is expected from each level, means each year. If anybody wants to contribute or ask, we will take for 1 minute, else we will go to the final part, that is fundamental concepts of outcome-based education. Pawar sir or Tushar sir, are we online? Is it okay? Any
Yes, sir.
suggestion?
Yes, sir.
It's
Okay.
okay. Someone has written some message in chat.
Okay.
Sir, can you share key performance indicators used for faculty appraisal and their points that can be awarded?
Yeah. Sir, now, even though we have not taken this for 2 days, but it is, I think I am very much thankful for the teacher who has raised this. Now, key performance indicator are very clear. Input, process, output are not key indicator. Understand who are we. We are education provider. So three broad areas are given to us. Number one, quality learning. Quality research. For undergraduate, it may not be research, but innovation startup. And third is community engagement and services. So obviously in future, our performance will be broadly under learning teaching activities, which include appropriate curriculum, what contributions we have done for curriculum. Even though BOS Academic Council gives curriculum, we have to tune it according to the vertical under which my curriculum. So whether I am using flipped learning, whether I am using experiential learning, to what extent I am using various strategies, to what extent I am using, you can say, teaching tools, and that will be my input parameters as a teacher. Second thing, since we are going for outcome-based education, whether I have identified, know my student. So do you know your audience to whom you are addressing? So have we classified fast learner, slow learner? What is the basis? Second thing, depending upon the interest, what type of, you can say, additional things I am giving. Am I using experiential learning? Have I taken them to learning, giving them learning experiences? Have I called some professor of practice to supplement my subject? So on teaching learning activities, probably those will be the criteria. When it comes to assessment, see, there are two parts. One is teaching learning, second is assessment examination. Definitely criteria for assessment will be what innovative technique I have used for assessment and examination. Am I using domain based? Say quizzes I am using, Mentimeter I am using, test mode I am using, or traditional method I am using, whether I have prepared rubrics correctly, whether I am using criteria based assessment. So for each part of my course, which type of technique, which type of tools, and what strategy of assessment I am using. Next, did I map for my each unit what are intended learning outcome, what teaching technique assessment, and whether that intended learning outcome of a module is demonstrated by students, so outcome based. Whether my every unit outcome I am able to map with CO. In my opinion, from academic perspective, this is what they will be assessing criteria, and those will be some key performance indicator. Second part is innovation, incubation, research. So there will be certain criteria. If research is not possible for undergraduate, whether innovations and startup type of things we are able to give, whether we have developed problem banks through which project is allotted, what is the methodology I use when any project I give, what is there any study, is there some homework, just like identification of problem, feasibility, economic feasibility, technical feasibility, time feasibility. On that study, I give the problem to the student on project. So my second part will be important about innovation, incubation, help for startup, my industry interaction, whether I know the industry, whether I have taken any industrial training, so that my interaction with industry, my interaction with other stakeholders, that will be my second criteria. And third, for every teacher, there will be some assessment on basis of social engagement, community engagement, and community-based, you can say, services or project or social innovations. So there will be broadly 3 areas of assessment, and each assessment will have its distinctive features such as teaching learning. Second will be innovation, research, publications, patent, or you can say startup or incubation help, industry interaction, and third will be my community engagement, social engagement, and services. This is what I feel will be the broad area for every faculty. And depending upon whether he is assistant professor, associate professor, or head of department, the weightage on these criteria will change. Students' feedback, stakeholders' feedback will also be a part of our assessment. Accountability in terms of COPO attainment, accountability in terms of outcome and feedback will be the base of setting the parameter. This is what I feel, sir. Does it satisfy to some extent, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So should we go to next final topic?
Yes, sure.
So now ultimately, as I write from the beginning, I am saying, where will NEP means is designed to take us? Number one, we are going towards level-based, competency-based qualification. And second, we are going towards outcome-based education. If you see NAC or NBA reforms, all measurement and you can say audit is now towards outcome only. What is the difference between earlier and now? Earlier, our education system was input, process, output. That was what are the inputs, what are the processes we do, and what are the outputs. That is what our education system was. Now, input, processes, output, they are present, but weightage is not only on that. Weightage is about outcome and impact. आउटपुट आणि आउटकम मध्ये फरक आहे. आउटकम म्हणजे शेवटी परिणाम काय झालाय, तुमच्या जे काय आपण करतो अल्टिमेटली त्याचा परिणाम आणि त्याचा इम्पॅक्ट, ह्या दोन गोष्टीवर आधारित संपूर्ण व्यवस्था होते आहे. मग ही व्यवस्था कशी बदलते आहे, तर आपण आपल्या या शेवटच्या सेशन मधून आय एक्सपेक्ट that all learned participants will be able to understand the concept and features of OBE. We cannot go into detail, but at least feature आणि concept आपण समजून घेऊ शकतो आता दिलेल्या वेळात. The outcome-based approach, first thing we should understand that it is all about performance. What does it imply? There has to be some performer. That is, who is performer in our system? Student or learner, not only teacher. So we are moving towards learner-centric system, performer-centric system. Second, there has to be something performable, demonstrable, and accessible to perform. ते जे स्टेटमेंट दिले आहेत आउटकम्सचे, ते आहेत परफॉर्मेबल. दॅट इज व्हॉट इज एक्सपेक्टेड स्टुडंट शुड डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट attainment of those things. And third thing is focus is on performance, not on task or activity. म्हणजे इनपुट आणि प्रोसेसिंग याच्यावर फोकस नाही. फोकस इज ऑन आउटकम. परफॉर्मन्स काय आलं विद्यार्थ्याचा, पास होणं, मार्क मिळवणं, is not performance. Demonstrating the expected outcome is the performance. हा पहिला अप्रोच आहे, तो आपल्याला लक्षात घ्यावा लागेल. हा असा बदलतो आहे. याची सुरुवात कशी होईल? याची सुरुवात होईल पहिल्यांदा आपल्याला प्रोग्राम एज्युकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह क्लिअर असले पाहिजे. प्रोग्राम एज्युकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह त्यांनी काय अपेक्षित केली आहे? वी आर प्रिपेरिंग स्टुडंट फॉर देअर फ्युचर जॉब रोल्स, फॉर देअर हॅपी लाईफ अँड फॉर देअर इकॉनॉमिक इंडिपेंडन्स. म्हणजे आज विद्यार्थी माझ्याकडनं शिकून गेल्यानंतर, तो पास झाल्यानंतर जेव्हा तो त्याची प्रॉडक्टिव्ह आणि फुल लाईफ जगत असेल, जेव्हा तो इकॉनॉमिक फील्डमध्ये असेल, त्यावेळेला त्याच्यात कुठले ऍट्रिब्यूट्स दिसतील हे मला आजच स्वतःला सांगून ठेवायचं आहे. सगळ्यात महत्वाचा मला असं वाटतं की तो लाईफ लॉंग लर्नर असेल, कारण टेक्नॉलॉजी फास्ट बदलते आहे. रिडंडन्सी आणि ओल्ड कन्सेप्ट पटापट बदलतात आहे. तुम्ही त्याला काही ते सतत ऍडव्हान्स शिकू नाही शकत. तो फील्डमध्ये गेल्यावर त्याला नवीन शिकावं लागणार आहे. हॅव वी प्रिपेअर्ड स्टुडंट? हाऊ टू लर्न इज द टीचिंग. म्हणजे मी शिकवलं पेक्षा स्वतः कसं शिकायचं हे शिकवणं, हे सगळ्यात महत्वाचा भाग आपला झालाय टीचर्सचा. म्हणून मी जर म्हटलं माझा विद्यार्थी हा प्रोफेशन मध्ये गेल्यावर तो सहज नवीन गोष्टी शिकू शकेल, तो अडॉप्टेबल राहील आणि ही विल बी अ स्टुडंट विल बी अ लाईफ लॉंग लर्नर. इफ आय स्टेट दिस इज व्हॉट इज माय प्रोग्राम एज्युकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह. मी असं म्हटलं की तो एन्व्हायरमेंट आणि सस्टेनेबिलिटीसाठी अवेअर राहील आणि त्याच्या पूर्ण प्रोफेशनमध्ये ही विल ऑलवेज बी सेन्सिटिव्ह टुवर्ड्स सस्टेनेबिलिटी. म्हणजे ज्याच्यात जेंडर सेन्सिटायझेशन येतं, एन्व्हायरमेंट सेन्सिटिव्हिटी येते, इकॉलॉजी सेन्सिटिव्हिटी येते, जनरल टर्म आहे तो. सस्टेनेबल डेव्हलपमेंट म्हणजे सगळंच येतं. हे कॅन आय स्टेट इट? असे मला 2-3 स्टेटमेंट क्लिअर कट ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह म्हणून मेन्शन करावे लागतील की जे विद्यार्थी त्याच्या प्रोफेशनल याच्यात तो दाखवेल. आणि जेव्हा ऑडिट होईल तेव्हा आपल्या अल्युमनायचा सर्वे केला तर हे चेक केल्या जाईल की तू किती नवीन शिकतोय, तुला जॉबमध्ये कुठल्या गोष्टी नवीन शिकाव्या लागल्या आणि त्या नवीन शिकायला तुला अडॉप्टेबिलिटी, लाईफ लॉंग लर्निंग इझी झालं की कठीण गेलं. इफ द स्टुडंट से नाही बा मला नाही जमत ते आता शिकून, मी शिकलो होतो कॉलेजमध्ये, देन दे विल से दॅट वी आर फेल्युअर. हे आपल्याला पहिल्यांदा 3-4 स्टेटमेंट तयार करून ठेवावे लागतील. आणि ते पीओज म्हणजे व्हॉट द प्रोग्राम इज प्रिपेअरिंग ग्रॅज्युएट फॉर देअर करिअर अँड प्रोफेशनल लाईफ. आणि हे त्यांनी आफ्टर ग्रॅज्युएशन काही वर्षानंतर हे अटेंड केले हे दाखवायचे आहे. दिस इज द इम्पॉर्टंट स्टेप ऑफ आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशन. ते एकदा ठरवलं आपण की माझा अल्युमनाय या गोष्टी दाखवेलच, देन यू हॅव टू स्टेट at the time of graduation what are program outcomes. Fortunately UGC, AICT, NBA आणि NEP यांनी 12 आउटकम इंटरनॅशनल स्टँडर्ड्स नुसार, हे सगळं ग्लोबलायझेशनचा पार्ट आहे, हा ऍक्रिडिटेशनचाच पार्ट आहे, वॉशिंग्टन अकॉर्डचा पार्ट आहे. तर इंटरनॅशनल इन्स्टिट्यूशन्सनी कुठल्याही ग्रॅज्युएटमध्ये काय आम्हाला एक्सपेक्टेड आहे त्या प्रोग्राम मधल्या, इंजिनिअरिंग प्रोग्राम असेल, मॅनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम असेल, MCA प्रोग्राम असेल, व्हॉट आर एक्सपेक्टेड आउटकम्स हे दिलेले आहेत. तुम्ही त्याचा जर नीट अभ्यास केला तर लक्षात येईल ते 12 आउटकम, त्यात 11 केले, एक त्यांनी मर्ज केला. हे 3 डोमेन बद्दल आहे, कॉग्निटिव्ह डोमेन, सायकोमोटर डोमेन आणि अफेक्टिव्ह डोमेन, बिहेवियर. जनरली या 3 डोमेन मध्ये काय ऍट्रिब्यूट्स असले पाहिजे, कुठलाही ग्रॅज्युएट म्हटला, इर्रेस्पेक्टिव्ह ऑफ एनिथिंग, एनी ग्रॅज्युएट म्हटला तर त्याच्यात या 12 गोष्टी दिसल्याच पाहिजे. त्या 12 गोष्टी आपल्याला जसेच्या तशा नॅकने दिलेल्या, NBAने दिलेल्या, UGCने दिलेल्या, AICTने दिलेल्या जशाच्या तशाच घ्यायच्या आहेत. त्यात बदल करायचा नाही. फक्त आपापल्या प्रोग्राम नुसार थोडी वाक्यरचना त्याला मॉडिफाय करायचं आहे, स्पिरिट मॉडिफाय करायचं नाही आहे. आणि दे डिस्क्राईब what the learner of the program are expected to know and able to perform or attend at the time of graduation. म्हणजे PEOs हे ग्रॅज्युएट झाल्यावर 3-4 वर्षानंतर काय दाखवेल, POs ॲट द टाइम ऑफ ग्रॅज्युएशन त्याच्यात कुठले ॲट्रिब्यूट दिसतील ते क्लिअरली लिहायचे आहेत. आणि मग आपल्या काही प्रत्येक इन्स्टिट्यूट विशिष्ट मिशन असतं, विजन असतं, विशिष्ट रिजन मध्ये असते आणि प्रत्येकाने काहीतरी त्याची स्ट्रेंथ असते, म्हणून त्या प्रोग्रामसाठी म्हणून त्या इलेक्टिव्हवर फोकस केला असतो, त्या टाईपच्या लॅबोरेटरीज डेव्हलप केल्या असतात आणि आपलं एम असतं की माझ्या प्रोग्राममध्ये या विशिष्ट स्पेसिफिक आउटकमसाठी आमचा प्रोग्राम रन करतो अलॉंग विथ ओव्हरऑल प्रोग्राम. असे 2-3 स्टेटमेंट, दोज आर नॅरो स्टेटमेंट that describe the learner of particular specialization of program are expected to know. त्यामुळे आपल्या इथे जे आपण स्पेशलायझेशन ऑफर करत असो ते कशासाठी आपण म्हणजे व्हॉट वी आर एक्सपेक्टेड, हाऊ स्टुडंट विल बी एबल टू परफॉर्म और व्हॉट आउटकम दे विल बी एबल टू अटेंड ॲट द टाइम ऑफ अगेन ग्रॅज्युएशन. So they will be given 2-3 statement. Next is mentioning those program specific outcome. And they are from various course combination offered by the institute. So institute specific राहील, त्यांच्या मिशन विजन नुसार, त्यांच्या स्पेशलायझेशन नुसार. काही रिजन स्पेसिफिक असतात, काही ऑटोमोबाईल सेक्टर जास्त असेल तर ऑटोमोबाईल रिलेटेड कोर्स तिथे जास्त असेल, ऍग्रिकल्चर खूप जास्त असेल तर ऍग्रो बेस्ड टेक्नॉलॉजीचे काही कोर्सेस असतील. सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन काही कम्प्युटर IT सायबर सिक्युरिटीचे असतील. सो एव्हरी इन्स्टिट्यूट हॅव सर्टन स्पेशलायझेशन. सो त्या स्पेशलायझेशन मधनं काय आपण अटेंड करू इच्छितो त्याचे 2-3 स्टेटमेंट करायचे, त्याला म्हणायचं प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम. आणि हे झाल्यावर प्रत्येक प्रोग्राम मध्ये 40-42 कोर्सेस असतात. दरवर्षी 10,000 धरले मी, थिअरी असतील, प्रॅक्टिकल्स असतील, तर त्या प्रत्येक कोर्सला आपण प्रत्येक जणच काढतो आता तो कोर्स, व्हॉट द स्टुडंट विल बी एबल टू डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट that student has attained those learning outcomes of that particular course. मी एक शिक्षक आहे, मी जर जे शिकवतो आहे माझ्या कोर्सचे लर्निंग आउटकम्स काय आहेत, माझ्या कोर्समध्ये 5-6 युनिट्स असतील, प्रत्येक युनिटचा आउटकम काय आहे आणि त्या युनिटच्या 5-6 युनिटचा आउटकम मिळून कदाचित कोर्स आउटकम असेल. मग माझा जर थिअरीचा कोर्स असेल, डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह नॉलेज आहे, प्रोसिजरल नॉलेज आहे आणि थिअरीचा कोर्सचा मी करत असेल, मला लक्षात घ्यावं लागेल तो फर्स्ट इयरचा आहे, सेकंड इयरचा आहे, थर्ड इयरचा आहे की फोर्थ इयरचा आहे. त्याच्यानुसार मग ब्लूम्सचा तो अंडरस्टँड लेवलचा आहे की अप्लाय लेवलचा आहे की सिंथेसिस लेवलचा आहे. According to that, I will clearly write, after studying this course, student will be able to एखाद दोन अंडरस्टँड, एखाद दोन यूज नॉलेज, एखाद दोन क्रिएट न्यू नॉलेज, एखाद दोन इव्हॅल्युएट, एखाद दोन ही विल बी synthesize or evaluate or judge. Whatever are expected for that course, that has to be clearly mentioned. Those are course outcome and they describe the performance the student should be capable of as a result of learning experiences within that course. आणि हे एकदा केलं की त्याच्यावर आधारित आपली इथे रोल सुरू होतो इंडिव्हिज्युअल टीचरचा. कदाचित PEO, PO, PSO आणि CO बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीजनी, अकॅडमिक काउन्सिलनी, मॅनेजमेंटनी, AICTनी वगैरे दिलेले असतील, ते रेडीमेड माझ्याकडे येतील ॲज ए टीचर. नाऊ आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशन मध्ये इंडिव्हिज्युअल मी ॲज ए टीचर माझा रोल कुठे सुरू होतो, माझा रोल सुरू होतो टीचिंग लर्निंग ऍक्टिव्हिटीज कीपिंग CO, PO इन माइंड. ते कशामध्ये होतं, सेट ऑफ pedagogical tools and techniques or teaching learning activities that aim to help students to attain intended learning outcome and engage them in these learning activities through teaching process. एक एक शब्द महत्वाचा आहे हा. का मला कोर्स दिला, मला सीओज दिले आहेत. मला सगळ्यात पहिले काय करावं लागेल, तो कोर्स समोर घेऊन घेतल्याबरोबर मला पहिल्यांदा हा कोर्स का शिकवायचा, हा कोर्स मीच का शिकवायचा आणि हा कोर्स स्टुडंटनी का लर्न करायचा, याचं मला बसून चिंतन मनन करावं लागेल. आणि मला एकदा लक्षात आलं की हा कोर्स का शिकवला पाहिजे, काय म्हणजे काय उपयोग आहे त्याचा, मीच का शिकवला पाहिजे, हा तर कोणी शिकवू शकेल, मग मी का, आणि माझ्याचकडनं स्टुडंटनी का शिकावं. मोड ऑफ लर्निंग तर त्याला सगळं अवेलेबल आहे. याचं चिंतन मनन केल्यानंतर मी स्टुडंटचं अनालिसिस केलं पाहिजे आणि माझ्या विषयाचं प्री रिक्विजिट काय आहे. वेन आय स्टार्ट टीचिंग दिस सब्जेक्ट, व्हॉट टर्म्स आय प्रिझ्युम की स्टुडंटला माहितीच आहे. कुठले कन्सेप्ट लॉ, मी म्हणतो न्यूटन्सला तर शाळेतच शिकलाय, कॉलेजला शिकलाय, तो मला वापरायचा आहे. विस्कॉसिटी आणि कायनेमॅटिक विस्कॉसिटी आणि डायनॅमिक विस्कॉसिटी ह्या टर्म तो शिकलाय, मी डायरेक्टलीच यूज करणं सुरू केले आहे. This is wrong. I will have to analyze what is the prerequisite. I will have to check from student whether they are aware of those prerequisite, की मला एखाद दोन लेक्चर रिफ्रेश करायसाठी घ्यावे लागतील. दिस इज हाऊ आय विल बी माय इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम. की स्टुडंटला हे फंडामेंटल कन्सेप्ट लागतात, मी टेस्ट केलं, त्यांना ते रिफ्रेशिंगची गरज आहे, तर मी माझी पहिली ऍक्टिव्हिटी रिफ्रेशिंग द कन्सेप्ट विच आर रिक्वायर्ड ॲज प्री रिक्विजिट. सेकंड, मी जेव्हा प्रत्येक युनिट आहे त्याचं मला छोटं बायफर्केशन करावं लागेल. हाऊ मेनी बिट्स मेक अ युनिट. जनरली एकेका युनिटमध्ये 2-3 रिलेव्हंट पण इंडिपेंडंट गोष्टी असतात आणि त्याचं मिळून एक युनिट करतो आपण, मॉड्यूल करतो. ते बिट्स मला वेगळे करता आले पाहिजे आणि प्रत्येक बीट intended learning outcome. After studying this bit for 1 hour, 2 hour, the student will be able to understand, apply, calculate, solve, जे काय असेल मला स्पेसिफिक लिहावं लागेल, मुलांना प्रत्येक बिटचं सांगावं लागेल. आणि ते त्याला मुलाला यावं म्हणून मला कुठली मेथड, मला लेक्चर मेथड योग्य आहे का, मी त्यांना व्हिडिओ देऊन त्याच्यात जास्त चांगलं एक्सप्लेन करू शकतो का, मी त्यांना लॅबोरेटरीमध्ये ते दाखवून जास्त चांगलं करू शकतो का, मी त्यांना पिअर लर्निंग मध्ये करू शकतो का. मला स्ट्रॅटेजी ठरवावी लागेल त्या बीटची. आणि ते झाल्यावर मला छोटस असेसमेंट घ्यावं लागेल की माझं जे इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम होतं, मी क्विज घेईन किंवा कौन बनेगा करोडपती सारखं एखादा मोबाईलवर पटकन क्वेश्चन टाकीन आणि चेक करीन किती मुलांनी करेक्ट आन्सर दिलं. छोटंसं प्रेझेंटेशन द्यायला लागेल. व्हॉट एव्हर मेथड आय कॅन यूज फॉर असेसमेंट. क्विझी वापरेल, टेस्ट मॉग वापरेल, मेंटीमीटर वापरेल, की माझा वेळ जाऊ नये त्याच्यासाठी म्हणून. हे सगळं केल्यानंतर प्रत्येक बीटला मला बघावं लागेल इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम अटेंड झाले की नाही. इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम ऑफ बीट विल रिझल्ट इन टू युनिट आउटकम किंवा मॉड्यूल आउटकम, आणि मॉड्यूल आउटकम और युनिट आउटकम टुगेदर विल रीड टू कोर्स आउटकम. देन आय विल बी एबल टू स्टेट की माझ्या मुलांमध्ये या लेवलची ही कॉम्पिटन्सी आली म्हणून माझं पीओ अटेंड झालं. This is what is to be done by individual teacher. Once PEO, PO and COs are given ready-made to the teacher, his role begins with this 6th step of teaching learning activity. आणि हे प्रत्येकाला रिफॉर्म्स ऑफ ॲक्रिडिटेशन मध्ये दाखवावं लागणार आहे. टीचिंग मध्ये पूर्वी इनपुट, प्रोसेस आणि आउटपुट होतं. आता इनपुट काय आहे, प्रोसेसेस काय आहेत, आउटकम काय आणि इम्पॅक्ट काय आहे. म्हणजे मला दिलेल्या करिक्युलम मध्ये मी डायव्हर्सिटी आणि कंटेम्पररी इश्यूज त्याच्यात इन्क्लूड केले का. मी प्रोसेसमध्ये नॉर्मल क्लासरूम सोबत इंटरॅक्टिव्ह मेथड, फील्ड वर्क, एक्सपेरियन्शियल लर्निंग, फ्लिप लर्निंग, प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग, प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्विंग मेथड, मी कुठली प्रोसेस वापरली कुठल्या बीटसाठी हे मला लिहावं लागेल. आणि शेवटी मला एक्सपेक्टेड लर्निंग आउटकम, इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम आणि डेमॉन्स्ट्रेटेड आउटकम बाय द स्टुडंट, हा मला आउटकम मॅच करावा लागेल प्रत्येक बीटचा, प्रत्येक मॉडेलचा आणि इंडिव्हिज्युअल प्रत्येक कोर्स आणि प्रॅक्टिकल दोन्हीचा. आणि त्याच्यावरून मला इम्पॅक्ट अनालिसिस, दिस इज व्हॉट विल बी माय आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशन फॉर इंडिव्हिज्युअल टीचर. आणि जसं टीचिंग लर्निंग ऍक्टिव्हिटी आहे तेवढंच महत्वाचं आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशन मध्ये आउटकम बेस्ड असेसमेंट आहे. ट्रेडिशनल एक्झाम, हायस्टेक एक्झाम ही मेथड चालणार नाही. फॉर्मेटिव्ह असेसमेंट, कंटिन्युअस असेसमेंट, क्रायटेरिया बेस्ड असेसमेंट, रुब्रिक्स बेस्ड असेसमेंट, यूज ऑफ व्हेरियस असेसमेंट टूल्स. आणि त्याच्यासाठी पहिल्यांदा प्रत्येक कोर्स टीचरला हे आयडेंटिफावं लागेल की व्हॉट इज दॅट वी एक्सपेक्ट स्टुडंट टू नो, अंडरस्टँड once they complete a certain topic, unit or course or a complete program. मी का शिकवतो हा विषयच मुळात का दिला पाहिजे आणि मुलांनी हा का शिकला पाहिजे. मला शिकवल्यानंतर विद्यार्थ्यांना यात काय ते विल बी एबल टू नो, अंडरस्टँड, एबल टू डू हे क्लिअर लिहिलं पाहिजे. आणि त्याच्या अनुषंगिक मला असेसमेंट टूल्स डिझाईन केले पाहिजे. दॅट इज व्हॉट इज आउटकम बेस्ड असेसमेंट. आणि असेसमेंट इज ए की पार्ट ऑफ आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशन. आणि इट ओनली डिटरमाइन्स वेदर क्वालिफिकेशन डिस्क्रिप्टर्स आर अचिव्ड ऑर नॉट. म्हणजे क्वालिफिकेशन डिस्क्रिप्टर्स डोळ्यासमोर ठेवायचे लेवल बेसचे. त्यानुसार एक्झॅक्टली व्हॉट डू वी एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम द टॉपिक, फ्रॉम द कोर्स लिहायचं. आणि माझं असेसमेंट, माझे क्वेश्चन्स, माझे वर्ब्स मी यूज केली, मी असेसमेंटची जी ऍक्टिव्हिटी घेतली, मग सेमिनार मधनं घेईन, प्रोजेक्ट मधनं घेईल, असाइनमेंट मधनं घेईल, टर्म वर्क मधनं घेईल, कंटिन्युअस म्हणजे कुठला तरी टूल वापरून घेईल, टेस्ट मॉज वापरेल, मेंटीमीटर वापरेल, क्विझी वापरेल, एनिथिंग आय मे यूज. पण त्याचा वापर करून अल्टिमेटली असेसमेंट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट कंपोनंट. म्हणजे जेव्हा ऍक्रिडिटेशन टीम येईल ऍज ए इंडिव्हिज्युअल, माझ्याकडे काय पाहिजे, माझ्याकडे ते पाहतील टीचिंग लर्निंग ऍक्टिव्हिटी मी काय केले आहे, इनपुट काय केले, प्रोसेसेस काय केले आणि आउटकम्स काय आले टीचिंग लर्निंगच्या. आणि दुसरं ते महत्वाचं पाहतील असेसमेंट. मी आउटकम बेस्ड असेसमेंटच्या दृष्टीने म्हणजे डू आय नो व्हॉट आर द लर्निंग आउटकम्स फॉर दॅट लेवल. मी कुठला विषय शिकवतो, तो कुठल्या लेवलचा आहे, त्याच्यात एक्सपेक्टेड कॉम्पिटन्सी काय आहेत, त्या कॉम्पिटन्सी झाल्या याव्या या दृष्टीने मी आउटकम लिहिले आहेत का, मुलांना कळवले आहेत का. आणि माझं असेसमेंट त्या एक्सपेक्टेड आउटकम डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट करतात असं आहे. दिस इज व्हॉट विल बी द युअर इंडिव्हिज्युअल टीचर्स ऑडिट आणि अकाउंटेबिलिटी when outcome based education, that type of accreditation, and it is soon, it is going to come very soon. आणि प्रत्येक गोष्टीला कन्स्ट्रक्टिव्ह फीडबॅक दिसला पाहिजे. प्रत्येक आपल्या टीचिंग लर्निंग ऍक्टिव्हिटीचा किंवा असेसमेंटचा आर वी टेकिंग फीडबॅक फ्रॉम ऑल स्टेक होल्डर्स. दिस इज इम्पॉर्टंट पार्ट ऑफ आउटकम बेस्ड असेसमेंट. आणि वी हॅव टू मूव्ह टुवर्ड्स कॉम्प्रिहेन्सिव्ह कन्करंट इव्हॅल्युएशन आणि कन्करंट इंटरनल इव्हॅल्युएशन. प्रत्येकाला असेसमेंट, एक्झाम इव्हॅल्युएशन, फॉर्मेटिव्ह असेसमेंट, समेटिव्ह असेसमेंट, क्रायटेरिया बेस्ड असेसमेंट, रुब्रिक बेस्ड असेसमेंट, एक्झाम बेस्ड असेसमेंट याचे कन्सेप्ट क्लिअर असले पाहिजे. आणि आपल्याला कॉम्प्रिहेन्सिव्ह कन्करंट इव्हॅल्युएशन किंवा यू कॅन से फॉर्मेटिव्ह असेसमेंट इज व्हॉट इज एक्सपेक्टेड. आणि ते ILO ला मॅप करेल, CO ला CO मॅप होतील, PO ला. इट इज अ व्हेरी इझी प्रोसेस. बट जसं कुठल्याही मॅटरचा फंडामेंटल ॲटम असतो तसा आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशनचा फंडामेंटल ह्या टीचर, त्या कोर्सचा टीचर आहे. टीचिंग लर्निंग ऍक्टिव्हिटी ही पहिली गोष्ट आहे. आणि प्रत्येक युनिटची फोड करून त्याचे बिट्स, प्रत्येक बिटला इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम, इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकमला मॅचिंग पेडागॉगी किंवा टीचिंग स्ट्रॅटेजी, आणि त्याचं प्रॉपर असेसमेंटचं टूल कुठलंही चालेल. तुम्ही क्विज करा, 4 क्वेश्चन विचारलेले दाखवा, पण हे सगळं रेकॉर्ड विल व्हॅलिडेट दॅट फॉर ए इंडिव्हिज्युअल टीचर. आपण बाकी सगळं जाऊ द्या, प्रिन्सिपॉलनी काय ठेवायचं आहे, HODनी काय ठेवायचं आहे, मॅनेजमेंटनी, फॉरगेट अबाउट इट. टीचर म्हणून मला काय ठेवायचं आहे, मला ते क्रेडिटचं रेकॉर्ड ठेवायचं आहे, मला लर्निंग आउटकम्स ठेवायचे आहेत, मला माझ्या दिलेल्या कोर्समध्ये प्री रिक्विजिट ठेवायचे आहेत, मला नो माय स्टुडंट, फास्ट लर्नर, स्लो लर्नर, कोणाला कशी गती आहे हे मी पाडलेलं आहे, प्री रिक्विजिट काढले आहे. पूर्ण कोर्सला युनिट मॉड्यूलमध्ये डिवाइड केला आहे, प्रत्येक युनिट मॉड्यूलला बिट्समध्ये डिवाइड केला आहे, प्रत्येक बिटचं इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम काढलाय, ऑल इंटेंडेड लर्निंग आउटकम टुगेदर मी मॉड्यूल आउटकम काढलाय, ऑल मॉड्यूल ऑर युनिट आउटकम टुगेदर मी कोर्स आउटकम काढले आहेत. आणि माझ्या प्रोसेसमधनं टीचिंग लर्निंग आणि असेसमेंटमधनं मी ते मॅप केले आहे. दिस इज व्हॉट इज द होल अबाउट आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशन, व्हॉट इंडिव्हिज्युअल टीचर इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू. मित्रांनो, एक पुन्हा मी छोटीशी एक्सरसाइज देऊ इच्छितो ह्याच्यावर, आपल्या आउटकम बेस्ड एज्युकेशनवर. पुन्हा मी तुषार सरांना, पाटील सरांना रिक्वेस्ट करतो, आपापल्या टीचरला बघा जमलं तर कॅन दे आयडेंटिफाय फॉर intended learning outcome, prerequisite, proper teaching strategy and assessment strategy, and course learning outcome for any of the course which they teach. I am not expecting, if a teacher is teaching 2-3 courses, take any one course, find out what are the prerequisites, find out what are your students, find out how you have divided in units, and for each unit you divide in bit, and for each bit find out what intended learning outcome and what strategy you will use and how assessment you will do to ensure student demonstrate attainment of that ILO of that bit. If it is done, you are done with complete accreditation process as an individual teacher expected, what is expected from individual. मला असं वाटतं, I should express at this time sincere thanks to all learned participants to bear me for such a long 3 hours our discussion. I am thankful to Ankit sir for providing us platform. I am thankful to principal management of our engineering college. I am thankful to Dr. Ratik sir, Director UGC MMTC, Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar and Vice Chancellor of our university. Big thanks to everybody. If any question, I am free to answer, there to answer. Else, please accept my sincere thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session.
Sir, later on you can give feedback, sir. Was it useful? Did you gain anything out of this? Because that is important for us to plan anytime for others also, isn't it? My request is, give your Tushar sir or Pawar sir, Patil sir, please give your sincere feedback too.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay, thank you. So you can take my number or address from Ankit.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Definitely, sir.
Surely we'll take the feedback and we'll convey you the feedback.
Thank you. Should we stop with your permission?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Minta bulan kamu.